By the power of magic and TV, my shirt has become redder. Yes, that was the offline qualifiers, and it was an absolute roller coaster for many of the teams involved. But it is time to move on to the major. We are here for day number 1. We're around about 30 minutes away from our first game of the day. We also have a record number of panellists who are former pros. In fact, all of our panel members are ex-pros, including the 2 that we have this morning. So let me introduce you to 2 men, one of which has a major to his name, a major title to his name. The other one has 1 match to his name. It is, of course, good morning to Fifth Lauren and Moses.
Sounds a bit harsh.
It does sound a bit hard. When I said that in my head, it was funnier somehow. It wasn't quite as hard. Sorry, Jason.
Didn't feel funny.
No,
Paul.
I thought you would refer that
What
to
was
you, and that's something else to me. And I was like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
But this is great.
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry
you like
about
how
that.
this turned out?
Yeah.
No, he's good on this one, I think. Yeah. What do you make of the offline qualifiers? It's been a long road, isn't it? Last 3 months of Counter-Strike, from those very open qualifiers all the way through to the offlines.
Definitely. It's a lot to take in, even if you were to follow it from day 1 to where we are today. And for the 2 years ago, it was quite easy to get to the offline qualifier, whereas now we have so many stops, so many people, so many teams from all around the world, and we have this offline qualifier extremely stacked.
Yeah, it's a long road, isn't it? And there have been a couple of teams that made it through.
Yeah, I mean, the tough part with something like this is like just how difficult it is if you fall out of like the legend status, right? If you have to fight your way all the way back, we see teams like NIP and Envy like not being able to do it. Like this is just a tough long stretch of the year that you have to go through. I think it's who was it? It's one of the teams that they had to play like 30-some qualifying matches even to get to the major.
Yeah, it's Penta and Vega Squadron
Lucky
also
them.
played in the. I mean, Vega played in the open qualifiers as well. Very start of the campaign as well. I mean, let's talk about a couple of teams that didn't make it. NIP, your former team, of course, not here. Didn't even make the European minor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. When you think of it, like Jason made the point, you fall out of the Legends, it's become as much tougher now because it's a wider field, but you'd expect them to get to the offline qualifier at the very least. Didn't even make the minor.
I think it's just very difficult because these are teams that you never end up playing against. Yeah, you're one of the best teams in the world. You're top 20 at the time, and you play against all these unknown teams that you have never even practiced before, so you never really know where you have, right? That's why I really like this system where anyone could potentially qualify.
Yeah, there's former champions falling all over the place. It's not just down IP, it's also Envy as well. Let's take a look at the teams that are lined up for the PGL Major here in Krakow. There are 16 of them, of course, 8 previous from the Eleague Major back in January that will return as legends on the left-hand side, and 8 challenges, which we'll focus on a little bit about as well. Jason, we've picked out a couple to talk about. Mousesports and GT were fantastic, went 3-0 in the offline qualifiers, but the ones that really stand out, I guess, new names here, Big, Immortals, and Vega Squadron. It seems almost impossible, Jason, that Immortals are the first time they've ever qualified for the major.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool part. Is they've failed spectacularly in the previous major qualifiers. So I mean, it's nice to finally see them here. They're a team that we've expected and we feel has been at this level to be able to compete on the stage, and just falling right at the end. But a team like Vega made their known off beating NIP at the last major qualifier, which is quite nice. Big is just a fun team, just because the name of God B is there. If you're a Counter-Strike fan, if you've been watching for a while, you'll know him. But just if you're into like the theoretical Counter-Strike side of things, if you just want to watch like how Counter-Strike quote unquote should be played, like Big is that team that through tactics, through strategy, gets more out of their players than perhaps most other teams, than many other teams.
Some of the teams that obviously didn't get out of the offline qualifier, which we're a little bit surprised about. Liquid one, Optic another.
Must be
Are
nice.
we surprised? Paul, are we? Really?
That's a bit harsh.
Really?
No, I don't.
No,
think
okay.
there's a whole
Well,
lot of
I'm
space.
going to be honest.
Liquid,
Yes.
yes.
I was even surprised that Optic went 0-3. I would have at least thought that they would get 1 or 2 games.
We got to rehash this whole NA thing again, don't we?
Yeah. No.
Love to see
We
it.
don't have to.
Are
I'm
you
just
NA
saying
nowadays, though?
Best friends with all those guys.
I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. That's true. I'm a big fan of
Just be
Kusa.
careful. Just be careful right now.
Big fan of Kusa. I taught him everything that he knows
no,
about defusing the
no
bombs.
fluff diffusing going on this panel. None of that stuff.
You've done a great job, Coach.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bring me in.
Definitely up for a race here when he comes back to the States. Don't worry about it.
Why does he make things so difficult on you? Why does he make it so hard?
No, but I mean,
it's hard on you.
Yeah.
But when we look at it, right, if you look at the teams that even qualified like Vega Squadron, right, you would expect them not to qualify, and a team like Liquid potentially have the opportunity to be playing here this week. But no, things change.
They do.
Optic did not play well. Liquid was, it's a really big surprise, right, considering they have never really been really good, but even the games that they lost didn't really look that great. So
They didn't indeed. Let's take a look at the prize money on offer here. It is, of course, $1 million if you're familiar with the major prize fund, $500,000 going to the champions, $150,000 for second, 70, 35, and $8,750 just for turning up as well. Also, it's a little bit different at this particular major in terms of our structure as well. We've got slightly, well, it's a similar format, but there's a few minor changes which could make a big difference. It is a 16-team Swiss format, 5-round best of 1, and after 3 rounds, anyone that's 3-0 will automatically qualify for the quarterfinals. We'll go all the way through to the 5th round, where the last 3 teams will make it through, and then we'll go into single-elim, best of 3 from the quarterfinals all the way through to the grand final. And one of the changes that has been made is to the veto process here. We should talk a little bit about the veto process, I guess, in terms of where we are and why it's important and what have you. We'll see the veto in the first map, but it's changed, Jason. Can you explain why?
Well, it's just taken out a little bit of like a random element, right? And also, I mean, it's given a couple more vetoes. So it's Team A bans 2, Team B bans 3, and then Team A gets to pick basically between the last 2 maps. So it's just added more bans in a row for one team to be able to just kind of, you can throw less like wrinkles into the field, right? Because it's not 1 by 1 by 1. So you can't really sneak like a map that you may want to play. You can't really play that game of chicken down to the last map or anything like that, which is kind of the big change that's happened.
Do you think teams majority of the higher seeds will just put the other team in the pick, remove 2 straight away, or do you think they might mix it up a little bit?
I think if you're a team that has like a deeper map pool, obviously it's a little bit harsh in the sense that it kind of limits how many maps you can play. It kind of takes that strength away, but you also, you can just ban straight off your opposing team who might have a smaller map pool. You can just take away their 2 strongest maps, and they're kind of left reeling, having to play a middle ground. So it's still obviously going to favor the favorite, but even if it does limit some of the teams with a deeper map pool.
Okay, we're going to get into those vetoes, of course, in the first map and see how it goes down. It's going to be fascinating to see how they break down throughout the first day, and of course through the course of the major itself. Talking about day 1, why don't we take a look at day 1's schedule? We're going to kick things off very shortly with Gambit Esports versus Mousesports. It's all best of 1, of course, in the Swiss format. Fnatic take on Flipside, and we'll finish the day with Astralis, the champions, of course, going head-to-head with Immortals, who will play in their very first major match.
That's going to be, this is now, they had that period where they couldn't make it out of the qualifiers. Now they're actually to the big stage. So it's like, how much is there actually going to be more pressure? Is that going to be like the weight off their shoulders because they even managed to qualify? So that's going to be interesting to keep track of, because some of those players are known for kind of, not necessarily disappearing, but like not playing up to their level in the important matches.
Well, they're very emotional, aren't they? I mean, and some people have said, well, if you could just calm down a little bit, if you could just take some of that away, but doesn't that take away from the essence of who they are?
Yeah, absolutely, and especially because that momentum and that emotion, that they use that to carry them to victories, especially in upset wins. Like that's kind of that's the wave they ride. So if they take that away now at this point when they've done it for so long, that's going to be such a different thing than what they've been doing for the past year. So I think it's going to have to be a slow progression if they want to stay like a tier 1 team, if they want to be considered one of the best in the world. Eventually they're going to have to find a way to curb that back and just keep consistent. But at the moment, it's just ride the wave. You're here now. There's no reason to change anything. All
right, let's talk about favourites and dark horses.
You asking me?
I am.
No, I mean, favorites, I think it's very clear-cut. Astralis, SK, FaZe. I don't think there's any talks about them.
G2?
Not necessarily for me. I don't know.
Not as a favorite.
No, not as a
Dangerous
favorite.
team.
Yeah, definitely dangerous team. I feel like they're way too inconsistent to be counted as a favorite, whereas for FaZe past 5 events, I think they've been in the final 4 times. Astralis always, I just see Astralis and I just see consistency. Even if they don't win that many tournaments, I just see them all the time, at least in the semifinal. And then SK, I mean, SK for me, they were in a slump a little bit after FNX ended up being dropped.
But now they've won 4 finals in a row.
Exactly.
If you include the football.
And I definitely think that, including football, I saw half of that and I thought it was over. And then I was on the train
Did
and
you
I go
tune
back.
out? Did you?
I was on the train, so I cut off.
So you tuned out?
I tuned out. I was like, it's over. VP won
done.
this.
Right.
And
you forgot about SK Gaming being really good in the late game.
Unbelievable.
That's what you
I
did.
didn't even want to go back and rewatch it because I was like, no.
Just a little bit.
Towards the end of matches, SK always strong.
Yeah.
Even in football.
No, but I think that SK has really found a groove here coming into this major. I think that the past few wins that we've had just really showcase how good they are and how great they are coming into the later stages of tournaments.
Okay.
And Phelps has definitely found his way into this team as well.
He definitely has. We're going to talk Dark Horse. I'm going to give you one. All right.
Great.
It's a major.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that one. I don't like that one.
It's a major impact. Do we really believe Virtus Pro are going to turn up here and go 0-3 and disappear?
No.
Katowice was an event in Poland. How'd that go for them? Pretty
They
good?
won it.
Not that was like
No,
2 years ago. It was like
yeah.
3
No,
The
are you
one they
talking
won.
about IEM?
They won.
Yeah, Katowice
listen
this
to me,
year.
listen to me, Jason. They turned up in Katowice in 2014. They were in horrific form. They were all over the
I'm
place.
talking about Katowice this year. This is
I know,
recent
but
history,
I'm giving
Paul.
some history. I'm giving some history
All right,
here. It goes
let's
back to
do it.
1823, the second major. They came into it playing horrible. They were awful. They were all over the place. They couldn't find a good map pool. Their map pool wasn't very deep. They were playing all over the place. They were literally running around headless chickens, right? They came to Katowice. The crowd got behind them. They went through the group stages just about, and then they go and win the whole tournament. Why not here as well? Why not believe, Jason?
It's a beautiful fairy tale. The one thing that had back to that Katowice was the talk about Virtus Pro coming into that was all the professional teams were just saying, and you can probably attest to this, was just like leading into that event, despite them looking bad, every single pro team was just like, these guys are actually incredible. Like, they found that next level, they figured things out, and now this is a team that's, like, other players were even predicting them to win that event based on what they'd seen in the boot camps leading up to it. So that's obviously not the case here. And it's not that they can't do it. It's just that I don't think you can call them a dark horse just because we haven't seen anything. Like the only thing we've seen is bad. And even if you want to rehash that soccer match, I mean, being up and then dropping the ball right at the end, let's just make that a storyline.
Perfect analogy. Yeah.
I think the two dark horses, the big ones to look at here, oddly enough, are going to be teams that have. Like they're unsuspecting dark horses because it's going to be like a team like Fnatic. It's going to be a team like Navi, where you look at these rosters and you say these guys should never be dark horses because they have the pedigree of being great players. But these two teams are still trying to work their way back up. And Fnatic is a team that has gotten like really, really screwed by some of the group stages at these tournaments, not being able to get out. Like if you look at their results of where they've been, it's like not making it a group stage, but it's all coming down to like tiebreakers and like an upset on the other side of the bracket forces them to play SK for a spot to get out of groups. And it's just like if that team gets out of groups, it would be interesting. Navi as well, if Guardian's going to play like he did just the other week in Cologne, that's going to be a team that's scary. Obviously with Simple as well, those two players alone can carry you to like the semifinals. So I think those would be like the two big dark horses just because of the pedigree of the individual players.
It seems astounding to me that we just 6 months on from Eleague talk about Navi as a dark horse. Astonishing, really. It just shows you the level of competition we've got here. We're going to move on to our first match of the day. We're around about 15 minutes away from that matchup. It's Gambit versus Mousesports. Two very interesting teams, of course. One is a legendary team, and the other one has a qualifier, and it's perhaps not the way round you would have expected. Of course, Gambit top 8 at the Eleague Major is a little bit of a surprise. Maybe they can do the same thing here against Mousesports, who came through the open qualifiers. We'll start with Gambit, and Fiflan, I'll talk to you first of all. When they did that at Eleague, everyone was just like, wow, actually the hype was real, because they won a DreamHack last year, and you sort of go, wow, they won a Dream, that's amazing. Wasn't quite that amazing when you looked at the team lineup because it didn't have that much of depth or width in terms of the quality there, but it was still a good title for them to win. Eleague kind of confirmed that they were a good team.
I just always considered Gambit before Zeus joined that they were a team that could upset best of ones. They had enough skill to just
good fraggers.
Good fraggers, just go in and potentially upset a best of one. Swiss system is really good for that. But now when Zeus joins, you can just definitely tell like how he has transformed this team into a team that has the potential of winning best of threes versus some of the best teams in the world. We're not talking SKs here. I still think that they're a little bit far beyond for that, but potentially upsetting some other big names here. And that was the shock for me when Zeus ended up having to leave Navi and he comes in here. I just feel like Gambit has just been completely transformed by Zeus' leadership. He brings over that kind of style as well, along together with the style that they had from before. It gives a little bit more depth to their lineup. Not something that Navi never really had before, because it was always very slow paced. Whereas for Gambit now, they have the skills and they have the tactician to even swap it up quite a bit. So for me, it's going to be very exciting to see how Gambit performs here. They haven't really been playing that much as of late for the past 2-3 months. Haven't been qualifying to any tournaments or anything, so they've had a lot of time to prepare.
Obviously having a bit of a rave around their keyboard in the player area as well. It's got that wonderful changing colour. I am. So Mousesports, on the other hand, Moses, let's talk about them as a qualification, because that was a breeze for them. I know some people will go, well, they didn't really have the toughest of teams and Tengri first round. You've only got to play who you've got in front of you. You can't do any more than that. They went 3-0.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think anyone necessarily cares about kind of an easier route that they might have had, just because everyone kind of expected this team to qualify anyway.
Yeah.
So even if they get the easy teams, it's no big shock or anything like that. I mean, the crazy part about this team is, they've always been in Pro League even despite losing Nico. So they've actually always played like the tier 1 team. So even if you look at like the results at tournaments, it's not that good. But everyone's like really, really excited about this team because of the way, you know, Oscar's been playing, bringing in Rops and having this new player come in and be a star for this squad. And this team seems to have a lot more potential than the results we've seen of them lately. But it's kind of like time where they have to start actually showing it, right? Like you can't just live off of that for forever. But it's been great. I mean, the story around this team this year is always going to be the way they managed to survive after the departure of Nico, that vacuum that was left, having Dennis step into the shoes, bringing Oscar back, and he's obviously fragging. Rops is in, Chris J is playing at a whole new level, like, and then Lowell is like this young star. And if you want to think, if you look over at like the G2 side, like how Body has kind of transformed from this young player last year who didn't have a lot of experience into like a really good support role player, and now he's actually showing that he can be even more than that. I think Lowell is a very similar situation over on Mousesports, where he started out as like a role player out of necessity. He's showed some very good things, and now he can be given more and more responsibility. But there's sneaky a lot of firepower, and the very interesting thing about this team is tactically and in the map vetoes, a very dynamic team for just being like a team that you'd still kind of consider tier 2. They do things a little bit differently than most other tier 2 teams, and I mean the coach LMBT, you have to give a lot of props to how he's kind of, you know, geared this team moving forward.
It's an interesting proposition. Would you say it's a better team now than it was with Nico in it? Have they been able to move on in that sense?
I was actually going to point at that.
Because they were playing around him, weren't they? And this is a totally different way of playing now.
Yeah, no, and this is the thing. Yeah, you look at Nico and it's like one of the best players in the world. Yeah. Why was Mousesports not better? Why is Mousesports better now than they were before? And I think that now, I think that they were way better as a team. They just, they still have their star players. They have Oscars playing incredible. Whereas I never really felt that Nico fit into this team. Even though he can be dropping 40, and they still lost.
But he was doing everything in the end, wasn't he? I mean, he was calling, he was doing all the strats, he was mid-round calling, he was trying to be entry fragger, he was AWPing. I mean, it was just you can't do everything, mate. Like it's too much on one guy.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and you can look at it that way, and that's all fair. But then you can also look at it from the other angle, as I guess if you call him like a Nico sympathizer, and just be like, if someone on his team had shown any of this potential when he was in the team, he wouldn't have had to take all that responsibility on. And then the ceiling for this team is even more high. Yeah. So I mean, you can look at it whichever two ways.
But they're a better round. They're a more rounded.
Yeah,
team
definitely.
now,
at the moment, if you're an opponent, you're going to look at this team and say, way more scared of this squad than we were when Nico was in it.
Yeah. Okay. Hearing that we should be able to go to the vetoes very shortly. It's going to be very interesting as well to get these vetoes up and running. We're going to have first taste of the brand new veto system. Remember, the highest seeded team, in this case Gambit, get to choose whether they go first or second in terms of the veto system, in terms of banning. The first team, whoever that might be, and we've assumed that they'll pick Mouse to go first, will get to ban 2 maps in a row. It will then go back the other way, and they'll be able to ban 3. Finally, last 2 maps left in the pool, the team that chose the first 2 maps to veto will pick from the last 2 to decide who takes the map. The other team will then decide side. So that's how it works. Sviflaren, are you expecting this to be funky? Are you expecting one of the teams to break out something a bit weird here, or do you think this is actually a better system?
So I like the randomness a little bit, but I also feel like that also puts more favor into the underdog somewhat, because when you have just one map left to play, the better team is just going to get a good map overall. Yeah. Whereas like now you have to prepare for all 3 maps. It's just going to be very random. And I think for this matchup, Gambit versus Mousesports, I think we're going to get a really good series to kick off this major. I don't think there's going to be any necessarily curveballs. I was looking into. I'm guessing it might go into Inferno or possibly even Train.
Yeah. Those are the 2 I would think would come as well, because especially with Gambit, like their big weakness in this map veto process that we'll see, essentially all tournament long, or as long as they're in it, is they have Overpass and Cobblestone as like those are their 2 maps that they just win on. They beat pretty close to everyone on them. And if you're an opposing team and you ban those 2 maps, then the win rate after that just drops. It just plummets to maps like Inferno and Train, which is like a 50% win rate. So you can really kind of neuter the strength of their map pool pretty quickly, especially in this veto process.
Yeah, just looking through some of the maps that Mousesports played, it's quite wide for them, isn't it?
Well, here's the crazy thing about Mousesports. This is why I said their veto process has been so dynamic lately, is just because they've played 8 Swiss system games between the qualifier and Cologne, and they've played 6 of the 7 maps that we have in the pool. And that's something you don't normally see out of the Tier 2 teams. And usually you see like a Tier 2 team, as they make their rise, they really select 1, maybe 2 maps that they become very, very strong on. And they go to those maps because it's like the best feeling you can have as kind of the underdog or the Tier 2 team. Even if it's an opposing team strong map, you still play it because you just feel comfortable on it. This is a team that will play anything, and they've been very targeted in their bans and what maps they pick to their opponents, and that just leads me to feel like there's some kind of massive preparation going on, and that goes all to the coach of LMBT.
Yeah, and we do have a few teams here that that just don't play certain maps at all and don't like certain maps at all, which leaves them with either 2 or 3, maybe at a stretch, strong maps. If they come up against the wrong team, i.e. a higher seeded team, they can remove all of those 3 maps. I'm thinking Virtus Pro here, for instance, could be quite vulnerable to this system in that they could lose 3 of their best 3 maps. They could just be targeted. And then they're awful on the other 4. Not awful, but they're not good on the other 4. Yeah. That harms them greatly, doesn't it? You need a deep map. We already said that before. We said it at Eleague, you need 5, 6 maps, really. And if you're Astralis, then all 7, great. But 6 maps is where you've got to be. And Mousesports are there.
You know, you definitely have to at least have 6 maps. I mean, we used to, even the guy you have here on the screen right now, Zeus, he used to play on a team, Navi, I can't remember, it was the 3rd major or whatnot. They're not playing Nuke, a map that they never played before, because they only played 5 maps heading into that event. So they had their go-to ban, and then it's like, let's just hope that, and it was a randomizer, so it ends up being Nuke 3rd map. So they took that gamble, 33% chance, ends up being Nuke. Never played that map before, and you go out of the tournament because you don't practice a map. So here, coming into you only need to know 3 or 4 maps in the Swiss system in the beginning, before the playoffs, right? If you're only looking into, I just want to make it our groups. Yeah. All right, sure. Be extremely good on 3, 4 maps. It's going to get you there because you can ban off the rest. Well, but if you're looking into going far in the playoff bracket, that will not cut it.
The other side of this is that if you have a map that you don't play, and the other team do play,
it's quite nice.
Then the same thing happens because you lose a ban effectively because you've got to remove it.
I mean, take Mousesports for example. Overpasses their permaban, and Gambit loves that map. So I mean, that's going to be gone just right off the bat, which is quite convenient for someone like Mousesports, and that is definitely going to hurt Gambit. But that's the big thing as well. I mean, once you start getting to the middle of these map pools, the great thing is, despite us saying that Mousesports has played like 6 of the 7 maps over group stages, it's not like they're not like dominant maps, right? Like they're still kind of, iffy. They're both ways depending on the opponent, the strength of the opponent, still sitting around, 50%, 60% win rate. So it's nothing to write home about. It's just the fact that they are competent enough to be comfortable playing a map that is not their best. And that'll be one of the nice things for them. But it is going to be a little bit dicey to see where it goes. I think Train is a very high likelihood of coming out here.
Yeah. I was going to say Train is the other one where they've both got winning margins on, and they've both played it a fair amount. Although you've made the point, Jason, a couple of times that Mousesports have got this wide map pool, they seem to be able to want to play anything. Their win rates aren't good on most of their maps, so it's not like they're brilliant on all of their maps. They're quite happy to play them, but they haven't seen success yet.
Yeah, and it's also kind of, I think, part of like the rough. Okay. I mean, it's been kind of cool for this team to go up just because they've been playing Tier 1 across all these maps. Tier 1 teams across all these maps. That's why you see kind of some of the strengths.
Okay. Well, we've got bans out from Gambit. And Mouse have removed 3. This is a test of your logo knowledge.
I was just going to say,
my
I
logo
have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. It's actually 0.
So Mouse have bound Cobble, Train, and Overpass. And Gambit have picked something that I can't read from here.
I think that's Inferno, right?
I think that's Inferno as well.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain.
I mean, we said it might go to Inferno, right?
Yeah, it was between Train or Inferno. I think we kind of established early on. I thought Train. Both teams have had like recent success on Train, so it might have felt that way. But either way, Inferno is it's going to be interesting. Actually, I don't think this is that great of a map for Gambit, so I'm a little bit surprised to see them pick it. Although, to be fair with these logos, I don't really know what the other map of the possibility was.
To be fair, we don't even know if it's Inferno. At
this point, we're just stabbing in the dark. We have no idea. I'm pretty sure it is Inferno in terms of the map. Would it have been Cash? I think maybe would have been. Yeah, so it was Inferno that was picked. Might have been Cash that was left over as well. We'll have to brush up on our logo knowledge. That one kind of threw it out left field there.
Yeah, really did.
Inferno's the most played map at all majors. Not really a big surprise, even after the remake. I guess we're going to see quite a lot of it at this major too.
Yes, I think so as well. I think because it's such a new map, and like you're saying, it's the most played map in the major, I think that everyone was expecting this map to come back, and it's just always been very... It has everything. You can play very open, very loose style with it, taking over mid, banana, just very simple smokes, and just play that kind of style if you want. Or you can also be very strategical, which is why this map works for most teams.
Yeah, and it's not that different from the old version. I mean, I know there are some points which are important, but it's not that different in terms of overall strategy.
No, but one thing that has kind of, I think, started to change, we saw it with the last Inferno towards like the later stages of it as well. just touching the similarities, is economy is just like wins this map. Like the CT economy is so delicate and so fragile that if you mismanage it even just a little bit, you're in a lot of trouble. So right now at the moment we're seeing a lot of teams on the CT side, if they lose a bomb site too quickly before they can get rotations over, very long rotations on this map as well, they just give it up. They don't even go for the retake, especially early on when they don't have an economy established. Because if they go through that cycle of continuously getting reset, continuously having to buy without nades, there's really not a whole lot you can do on this map except play passively. And that's where terrorist-sided teams can either be very, very fast-paced and hit you when you can't slow them down, or they can just gain so much map control and they can just manipulate rotations and make you feel really, really awkward. So as a CT team, you have to establish the economy. And in that sense, it's actually pretty good for underdogs as well, because if they do get that economic break, you can just wreck teams on this map.
Yeah, yeah, so it's going to be one of those fun things to watch out. Did you miss the days of Dust 2?
A little bit. I
always get to a major and think, yeah, Dust. Oh no, Dust. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah,
that we haven't got it around. That's all.
I just feel like it's because it's been in the game for so long, right? People just expect to see it. But I think at the end stages of before it got removed, it was just. It wasn't necessarily that fun to watch. You had you couldn't really reinvent that map that much anymore. You took mid control. You really wanted cat all the time. As a CT, you could potentially just try and fight a little bit, but at the end of it, you fall back and you play retake A.
Where are those 5-man long A rushes from CT?
Yeah, it just doesn't happen anymore. And so that's why.
Well, not surprised because it never bloody worked. That's why.
No, but that's why I'm very excited. This is a very old map for this game, right? Yeah. And it's a very delicate map.
It's iconic though, isn't it?
You never know what's going to happen with the remake, right? Yeah. What we're going to get from it. And I really hope that it's not going to be changed too much. I think that they should still keep, the fundamentals of this map and change it up a little bit so it becomes a little bit more fluid, a little bit more on the T side, a little bit more strategical. So you don't just know it's like, okay, they have cat. That means two things can happen: A, push, or B, split. Because that's what you got. That's what you got all the single time. So like maybe some more openings. I don't know. Not going to talk about it. Don't want to get flamed.
He's obviously working on the map himself. Doesn't want to leak anything. Duster, of course, hopefully back for the next major. Not here right now, but I tell you, a man who is here. He is a legend in his own right. He is a legend in esports. He's the only man that we've knighted so far in esports as well. He's the one and only Sir Scoots, and he's talking with both coaches.
Thank you very much, Paul. I'm not sure about the knighted part, but I'll accept that. So I'm here with people we don't normally talk to. This week we're going to try to talk to a lot of the coaches all week. So I got the first two coaches for the first two matchup. I got Kane over here with Gambit. I got LMGT with Mousesports. So let's get right into it, guys. LMGT, yeah. BT, I keep saying G. So first question, a lot of teams have been nonstop traveling the last couple months, going from event to event to event. SK prime example, right? Looking at your guys' records, last 3 months on LAN, you've only played 24 maps and 25 maps respectively. So not a lot of time on the road, a lot of time at home. What have you been up to, and most especially, what have you been up to in regards to preparing for this actual match?
Well, basically it's a bit wrong. We played less maps because we was not getting to playoffs. But our time on road exactly same like an SK.
Sure.
Because it started exactly from same tournament. Well, basically we are a bit tired, but still we feel ourselves just ready.
I mean, I didn't want to say that you're jumping out of groups, right? I was just trying to be nice about it. All right, and what about you?
Yeah, we play 25 maps, but last 2 months we play only 5 maps, so it's not enough. But we have a good boot camp. We last 3 weeks live at our home, and we have many hard work about new strategy and try to good play in this tournament.
And let's talk a little about the coaching role in general. It's changed a lot since Valve started allowing coaches in one way or another. Obviously, it's a little more restricted now than it used to be. So in some regards, it makes your time talking to your team even more important because you get less time during the match to talk to it. As coaches, are you an anti-strat kind of coach, like you're always looking at what the opponent's doing, or more worried about playing your own game? We'll start with you.
Well, basically, all the coaches are looking up the opponents anyway. It's like you're anti-stratting or not anti-stratting is your question. Yeah. Like you can do it or not. We are basically done doing it a lot. We are focusing on our game much more. But about the coach rule in general, I think it's correct because it was some kind of cheat, to be honest, for me. And well, when I started coaching Mouse, the rule was already there. So basically now coaches are much more responsible for preparation itself, not for in-game stuff, right?
Gotcha. What about you?
Скажи, как решать спорные вопросы? Это We must help. We must help our team and search right way and fix our problems, and
Sure, gotcha. So a little bit of in-game as well as out-of-game work for your players, basically. Yeah, makes sense. Now, last final question. Let's get to what you're playing today. You're playing Inferno, new veto system. First off, thoughts on that, and like walk me through your side of the veto. We'll go with you first.
Well, before tournament, when we saw it, yeah, I told that it will not affect definitely in any scenario our veto against Gambit. I mean, both of us, I guess, me and him knew the map anyway. Because it will come to one of two, and obviously they have to choose this one. Same to them, basically. They know that they will choose this one, and they was preparing for it. So I don't think it's affecting so hard most of matchups, at least. Okay. Something like this. Not a random, I think it's good. Because before it was a random. Yeah. Now I think it's good.
Yeah, I think it's good, but we and Mousesports know what map we played, so nothing new.
Yeah, and you two have known each other for a very, very long time. You said 15 or so years. So I'm sure you guys are inside each other's head a lot. So one final more question, statement, trash talk, anything you want to say to each other? Or you want to have some fun here with each other, or just good luck?
Well, for me, it's a first matchup. Yeah, it doesn't affect the tournament at all, and I'm happy that I'm meeting my friends in the first match, and we will not meet further in group stage. Doesn't matter who will win or lose, and I wish them just good luck and good run in the tournament, nothing else.
All right, that was too nice. What about you? You got to say something.
I'm very respect Team Mousesports, and I wish good luck and have fun.
Great. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck with your match. Give a big shake. That's going to do it for us here in the interview section. Paul, back to you at the desk.
Yes, thank you very much, Scoots. No trash talk. Disappointing start to the day, frankly. Far too friendly. Like each other too much. Lots of respect like that. Hopefully we get some more trash talk out of these guys.
Wishing good luck as well. That's a rookie mistake. You never wish good luck to your opponent.
Yeah. I mean, GLF, HF is fine, isn't it? Good luck, have fun. That's okay. It's very civil.
Just drop the have fun. No luck.
No luck. Okay. Yeah. All right. Time to put your thoughts to who wins this match. Now you know the map and you've heard the coaches talk. Fifth Lauren, has your opinion been changed in any way?
So, contrary to Jason, I think Jason said that Gambit, he feels like Gambit's is not necessarily that good on Inferno. I don't know. I think this map really fits their playstyle a little bit with the addition of Zeus. You have a lot of strategical advantage here if you're Zeus. If you go into just a deep level of it, you have so many things you can do on the executes and also just very loose style play. But I think overall, Mousesports should win this.
You think firepower overcomes strategy?
Yeah.
Because if we're honest, Moses, the other way around, I don't want to slight Chris J too hard here. He's a good mate of mine, but at the same time, he's brand new to the in-game leading role. He hasn't done it very long. He's still learning. By his own admission, he said, "I'm still learning, and I'm really not calling mid-round either." So, if strategy comes into play here, Zeus surely has got the call on this one.
Yeah, perhaps. But the one thing that like Chris J will have to bail him out is like the young talents of guys like Rops, of someone like Oscar, who's just been so dominant recently, especially with the AWP. If you have an Opera on this map going absolutely nuts, like it's such a difficult map to play just because you can put him so many different places. The reason why I don't think this is that great for Gambit is a lot of their wins on this map came very early on. They were one of the first teams to really like adopt it kind of or start testing it out. You know, think back to like DreamHack Vegas where they got like 2 wins on it. So in that sense, it seems like it hasn't been that great for them recently, despite them having a winning record on it. But yeah, I mean, Gambit's always going to beat. The one big thing of them, the hype going into the Eleague Major was the fact that a Dren came out of nowhere. Hobbit like had this great potential, and those guys became so consistent for a long period of time. We haven't seen them for a little bit. Like they said, they had a 3-week boot camp, so we haven't really seen Gambit whatsoever. So this is going to be quite an interesting match of where they're going to be coming into this.
I was going to ask you both because there are arguments for and against this in the sense that are the Legends at an advantage because they can sit back and they can watch these teams play qualifiers and watch Swiss matches and what have you? Or are they a disadvantage, Robin, because they're not getting the practice and the hardcore matches against these teams?
I definitely think it's a disadvantage, mainly because you have no idea what works or not.
You think it's a disadvantage as a legendary team?
No, I think it's a disadvantage for the teams that's just sitting at home boot camping, not having a chance to play against the legendary teams essentially, right? Because they've been very busy as of late. They've been traveling. I mean, last one you had ESL1 Cologne, and just overall, it's just been a lot of tournaments. So, but I think if you're just sitting at home practicing versus even lesser teams, you have no idea what's going to work versus the good ones, right? Yeah, you have that little. It's a little bit of a gamble because it might work, it might not work. Whereas for a team like SK, for a team that attends all these tournaments, you know what works and you know what doesn't, right? Even if people know what you might be doing, it's like, well, we've done this again and again every single weekend, and it still works. So
yeah, I mean that's later on in the day and in the tournament that's going to come into a play when we see Astralis play, isn't it?
Yeah,
Was
they're the X factor.
Yes, I was just going to say
sit at home. Was that a good decision? Was it bad? We were going to know by the end of the day. I would imagine.
I think for a team
idea.
like Astralis, it's a good idea.
Yes, I definitely agree. But I think for a team like Gambit, for example, I think it's a bad idea.
Right, because you want to hide, don't you? As Astralis, you want to hide things to not show stuff.
In fairness to Gambit, Astralis chose not to do Cologne. I don't think Gambit was invited, and they didn't make it through the qualifier. So I think they tried to go, right? It's just.
Yeah, I mean, by their own admission, they played 5 maps in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not through, not wanting to try or not wanting to get there. It's just not.
Who did you predict to win, by the way?
This match?
Yeah.
Listen, Robin, it's been a while since you were on one of these things.
No, I saw the little banner, and then I came up, and you were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I was trying to sneak.
Ladies and
through
gentlemen,
that one,
ex-professional Counter-Strike player.
I was just like, he was talking for so long.
Did you predict
so
Mousesports?
the producer just forgot about you, and then coming into next. I picked Mousesports.
Okay, all right, that's nice.
But wrong.
No,
it's okay. You can say it.
All right, all right. What do you think?
I'll take. You know what? I'll take Gambit. We'll go head on this one. We'll have some laughs.
All right. We're going to split decision on the panel.
Camaraderie will be at an all-time high.
Why don't we say hello to 2 other Banter boys? They're in the commentary booth right now. Is of course the legendary Anders and Semler back for another major. Good morning, boys.
Good morning, Paul.
How you doing?
Very well.
Are you impressed with the level of banter? Fifth Laren stepping up his game here on the panel.
You kidding me? He's only getting warmed up.
Is he?
That's true. We aren't even into full swing yet here.
Right.
He's a little rusty. He's got to brush it off a little bit. But once he gets back into it, I think we'll be fine.
You can tell he's been living on in San Francisco for a while. Like the sun is just getting to him. It's just fried his brain, hasn't it?
He's NA now. He's all out NA.
Is this where you can tell you've never been in San Francisco though, because there's no sun in San Francisco?
No, I have.
He was saying when I was there. I have one days of experience.
I have a secret, Anders.
Go on, tell me.
The first game of every tournament I ever do, I have one thing in my mind, and that is, do not say the F word.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or you could just start strong.
And honestly, so far, so good, because he hasn't said Fifth Laren once. Anyway, boys, it's down to you for game number 1.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yes, indeed, we are ready here with the first game. First game of the major. It feels really good, doesn't it? It's been such a long time coming.
That's the thing, man. There was a time when we had 3 majors a year. Now it looks like we have 2. Long wait. It was January, the Eleague Major. That was the last one that actually went down. Astralis won it. And now we get to see, can they defend their crown? I know that you're going to be cheering for them.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. It's too soon to tell. Yes.
Yeah.
No, but this is very exciting, and I think there are so many unknowns. This whole group stage format is so crazy, and with teams like Gambit and the Mousesports in the best of 1 format, I don't know how to call it. I think it's going to be crazy. We've got a bit less intel on Gambit, as the desk are pointing out. They were their legends, so they came in from sort of straight here, whereas obviously Mousesports, we've seen them play quite a bit recently.
And I think that's going to favor Mousesports, to be fair. I mean, the fact that they've had a few more lands to kind of iron out the kinks, that gives Chris J more opportunity for experience as well, seeing as how he's the one calling the shots on the team, so it lets him get a little bit more comfortable. We've seen a very good level out of Dennis recently, which was very interesting considering him and Speedy were basically the punching bags for the team when Nico was on there. As far as, Fifth can commiserate, right? Fifth will be there to give Dennis a hug every now and again. It's like, I know. But I think Mousesports right now, they've had more lands, and so they're more experienced. It's going to be up to Gambit to prove themselves.
It's always very dangerous when you end up sort of not playing too much, but it sort of worked out for Flipside, right? Yeah. They just ignored everything, went in and made their way through the qualifying, which is sort of crazy. And honestly, I don't know. I think Zeus is hard-working in-game leader. I feel like he's going to have a lot prepared. I actually think this format is a format that works really well for someone like Zeus. He can study Mousesports so much before the game actually happens, and I think actually Gambit are going to be lethal in this game.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to be really dangerous. And remember, since you brought it up, you talked about sort of the Eleague Major and everything. Remember how Adren was playing through some of that stuff, how good he was, right?
He is pretty much like the one consistent. Yeah. Well, they have Adren and Hobbit now. Hobbit, right? And if those guys don't turn up, Gambit is just going to be dead in the water as far as I'm concerned. But then again, both of those players so good at showing up. Adren he's just delivered over and over and over again. So you always feel like you can count on him. But he's really going to be the linchpin for the team.
No, I think you're right, and we'll see how it all pans out. They were very friendly with each other.
Yeah,
not too much banter going on when the coaches were talking, but I still think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, everything is on the line here, and we are going to be on Inferno for the first map of the PGL Major. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mousesports versus Gambit on Inferno. Sapphire's doing our in-game of something. I love that they put that in there. It's really great. Her and DJ do an amazing job, so you want to see them every time, pretty much.
Pretty much the premier duo now when it comes to observing. So I'm glad to see that yet again they're here at the Major. They were also handling it back at Eleague as well. But Mousesports and Gambit starting us off. Inferno, classic map, most played map according to Red Eye. And so, good on him doing the stats. But more importantly, that this is a new map, and it's played fairly differently from what we've seen in the past. And it looks like the X-God has already been laid low, Anders.
Yeah, apparently. Brief moment of disconnect before we actually get it live. That's fair enough. Don't want to start with any kind of issues. If there are going to be any, you prefer them to be before the game goes live. As a general rule, once someone has taken damage, that means the game is officially live and it's too late to sort of cancel anything out. But no one had, so that's good news. Gambit starting on the T side as well, Mousesports on the CT side. Very curious how this will play out. I think Moses was bringing up a good point in saying that so much of it comes down to the economy. We've seen CT side struggle on this map if they don't have money to buy everything they need.
Well, that is kind of just like a standard, right? The rule is CT side, you need to actually get money to buy the incendiaries. And that's what's going to be so important here, in particular on Inferno CT, is mid control. You can get the early HEs into mid if you want to be clever on the CT side, but more importantly, it's all about banana control. And that nade game, it's like layer on layer of meta over there now on timings for HEs, on timings for incendiaries. Are you smoking bottom banana, or are you going to try and control top banana? All of these teams, they actually have all sorts of different timings, which makes it really fun to watch CT side Inferno right now. Is, how are the CTs trying to deal with that nade game over there on that side of the map? I think it's much less important on the A side of things.
No, you're absolutely right. And it seems like it hasn't really settled yet. People have different sort of opinions about how to do it. I've got my own strong opinions about how people should be playing it, and I routinely get pretty frustrated at watching people play Inferno, actually. But in like a good way, I think it's very interesting, and I love seeing how it develops. We did actually see during the actual major qualifier how differently teams play on A side now that we're talking top mid. I think actually Mousesports is one of the teams that were more aggressive, whereas a lot of teams are holding really far back. Like they're all the way back in the A-bomb side. As far as I remember, Mousesports were a bit further up and they were playing like close to Arch, close to Quad, trying to shut that down.
Well, kind of how it's supposed to be played back in the day, right? I mean, back in the day, right? How you used to play is you challenged mid and you'd set up multiple points to fall back to along your way as CT, right? You're holding Arch side, you're holding the corner looking into mid. Okay, they come around that corner, you fall back to Arch, you fall back to the library corner. Okay, right? There's like step by step by step, you fall back, but you're getting information the entire time. And you're right, Anders, I think teams right now, perhaps because they aren't quite as settled on the map yet, they haven't figured everything out, they're not feeling comfortable playing that mid-information game, and so they just default into a very passive way of holding, which allows for the T side to just basically have full map control right off the bat. That's not what you want to do. You need to be challenging them. You need to be actually trying to play for that information.
Yeah, I agree, and it can't be that people have forgot. I think it's just that it's a bit more difficult holding apartments now. Yeah. And so when people don't have control of that, they feel like they can't control quad anymore, and then, they just sort of fall further and further back. I think that's super risky, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm really interested to see how Mousesports will approach this, and I'm really looking. I think watching any of Zeus teams is so much fun. So I'm always a big fan of it, and here it comes. The game is live. We're going to see what happens. Dennis making his way towards the middle, probably just for a quick spot. Can he make the jump to second mid? That's really smart. This is really low risk and really high reward, and so is this shot from Oscar. A second headshot as well, taking down Hoppet. Now we're officially live.
Yeah, action is in. Chris has gotten tagged down, but that's not the end of the world here because Oscar, we talked a lot about the heavy hitters on Gambit, but I mean, Oscar in the major qualifier, he had some insane rounds that where he just showed up and laid low everybody in his way. And so he is going to be one of the players that you need to keep an eye on here if you're a Mousesports fan, if you're looking for Mousesports to win. A lot of this is going to come down to him and Rops.
Don't know why he's still challenging. That doesn't make a lot of sense. You're playing a 5 versus 3, and it's a best-of-1 game, so just fall back and play it safe. Let them try and figure out how to get into a bomb site. 2 men stacked in pit as well is such a safe and strong defense on Ace. I actually love this setup from Mousesports. I think this is a really good call.
Quick rotate possible from Lolo, and he's got the kit as well.
Yeah, and that's super important, obviously. So, yeah, I think they're pretty much in the perfect position here. 40 seconds for Gambit to try and make their way through. They've put in the smoke, so now they're definitely committed. Going to try and make their way in as Chris lands a headshot on Adren. Zeus trying to get the bomb down. He's going to have to cancel it for the moment. He's going to get one more frag in. And can he actually get the bomb down? This would be huge right now for Gambit. 5 versus 3 into a 1-on-3 with the bomb down. That's not bad at all.
Did they spot the gun? I think they did. Yeah. And so he's kind of pinned in here, facing 3 players. We'll find it. No, Rops! Headshot on Lowell. The team kill coming through. And Zeus, he realizes they have to close quarters. He wants some more bullets in the gun. Unfortunately, he forgets to reload it, but it doesn't matter. Rops hits the headshot anyway. But you got a bit of a picture-in-picture there of Oscar. Man who started Mousesports off very strong here in their first map of the Major. But that's what he does. And Anders, you're right. Why is he challenging Top Banana again at the beginning? But that's just Oscar. Oscar is an aim-driven, just duel-driven kind of player.
Yes.
He wants to get in there. He's always looking for fights. Even when it may hurt his team, he's still looking for fights. And that's his quality, is that sometimes it actually works out for him. He pulls the crazy play.
What a hero as well, saving Chris. That's a 3rd headshot for Oscar in that round. And the fact Chris survived on 11 health, and he got the headshot when they actually entered the B bomb site. So even on 11 health, you know, still there and still obviously, lethal. So what a way to get started. AK-47 has been picked up on Adren. That's crazy. You get the bomb plant down, traditionally speaking, you're going to be saving until you can get the AKs in the 3rd round. But Gambit, they're putting on the pressure and stepping it up right away. I'm really interested in how this will work out. Hobbit, going to lose that fight early on. Dren, what can he give us here?
It's fun to see that it's Zeus who's taking the hit as well for this AK. Down to $150. He's going to go with the Tech 9 in the next round.
Look at this. This is a boost we have seen really rarely on this new version. He's going to win the battle against Chris, but now Mousesports know this boost used to be insanely popular, and people do it with the AWP on top, but we have almost not seen it on this new version, so it's great that we finally do. Stealing the FAMAS. Doja has body armor as well. This is doable. This could be done.
Absolutely, this can. Because they've kind of skimped. It's Lowell with an MP9. He does have the rotate coming in from Oscar, but Oscar has the UMP. A little bit more confident in the UMP up close. But with these AKs, we're seeing some of Zeus's old style as well, right? There we go. We get that start. Now we're just going to run down that clock, wait and see if Mousesports is going to make the play for information. Then we can punish that. But now it's starting to get to the point where 30 seconds left, and Zeus is once again in his element, executing onto a site with very little time left on the clock.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the kind of Counter-Strike that we really expect out of him. Doja swapped in for the AK instead. We're down to 15 seconds. That's so little time. Zeus will pick up 1 kill, and Robs is now hiding. Great turnaround and picking off Zeus, who's trying to jump up on that scooter to get the kill. Doja gets a headshot, but it isn't enough. They've done a lot of damage, but eventually they're going to lose the round anyway.
Where's the AK?
Did he not pick it up?
He didn't save it?
I don't think he did. That's... Oh, he didn't. That's such a shame. Did it fall underneath the cart or something?
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like there's some unfortunate turn of events there that meant that he couldn't actually pick up that AK. Get CSGO'd, bro. Oh, that sucks, because, I mean, you literally just got gifted. It's like a party favor, the best one. Here, we forced with an AK. We didn't actually win the round, so you get to keep it now. That's so frustrating, especially in the hands of Oscar, who's hitting headshots left and right. On CT side, triple nade down mid. Yes, but then they choose to run right into it. Mo sprays down Dennis, and the nades just go sailing harmlessly past Gambit in mid.
This is such an aggressive and powerful early buy for Gambit. They got 3 kills in the last round. They only bought on 2 of their players with armor and 1 AK, which means they can still sort of make this round work. I mean, it's a Galil and it's a UMP and a little bit more, but this is just fine. It's a way better buy than the one Mousesports has.
Yeah, because Mousesports thought that they full bought last round.
Yeah.
They thought that they forced last round. And so they're like, oh yeah, anti-eco farm, let's go with the SMGs, make some money. Oh wait, they have rifles. We fell right into it. Great trap set from Gambit, and Mousesports walk right into it face first. Man advantage now for Gambit, and this is really going to favor them. They still have a decent number of nades to work with as well. 2 smokes still in play, so they can go for that B execute.
Bit of a deep grenade. Not going to tag anyone. Chris playing alone close with the UMP. That's a great headshot to begin.
Perfect.
There's a lot of damage to Zeus, and yeah, this is that's very important. If he goes down, you wonder if the B bomb side isn't just going to almost fall immediately.
And then they get the boost up as well. So if you want to go for that CT smoke. Oh, Oscar gets caught out in the open. This is going to be the big opportunity here for Rops. And sure enough, he will not miss the chance. Can he get the follow-up? Yes, he can. And now he just needs to stay alive. Man advantage for Mousesports. Rotation coming in from the B side. But that's all good because so long as Rob stays alive here, it's a thorn in Gambit's side, and they're going to have to deal with him eventually.
Bomb is finally going to be going down, and Mousesports feel like now is the time to strike. Rob's missing a chance for a kill, but it does leave Zeus on just 4 health in the pit, and he's going to get taken down by Lowell. That's very smart, and it's a good job on Mousesports to wait until they hear that bomb plant sound, because Gambit wasn't really in a position to fake that too much, so you got to appreciate that. Some really tough rounds early on here.
Well, that's where Zeus's style can come back to bite you. If you're running the clock down low every round, well, Mousesports are going to start getting used to that. They're going to start saving their utility until later into the round. They're going to start playing for the late game, right? Air quotes. But also, if things go south, like Rops killing 2 of your guys and then staying alive, you don't have much time to maneuver. You have to get that bomb planted, right? You can't just waste another 20 seconds waiting for the rotator or hunting somebody down. You're really trying to get that bomb down to have time to work with. So very quick thinking on his feet there from Robs. He played that situation perfectly, I think. And it's a 3-0 lead now for Mousesports on the CT side. Double op in play here as well for the CTs.
What a heavy investment for Mousesports to begin with, but it pays off just fine as Mo was trying to lurk away down there. That shot probably wasn't as easy as it looked with the X-ray on. I suspect from Oscar's point of view, there was a bit less to see. So it's a pretty good shot after all. And he's really mobile, moving up into apartments as well. So Gambit, see how they do in this 4th round. They've put so much pressure on Mousesports early on here, but now they're starting to run out of money. Even with the bomb plant, it's not quite good enough.
Yeah, they've gone for the full. What they're hoping for here is just the bomb. But I think it's going to be a half buy regardless in the next round. Even with the bomb plant in this sort of round, you're not quite getting max money yet. And really, I think do you want to get that AWP in play for Mo? Do you want to start having full nades, the Molotovs, the smokes, everything for a clean execute that you've practiced? These are the kinds of questions that Zeus has to be asking himself, and you're still very early on in the half. I don't see any reason to just keep forcing. You have time to work with here.
I think what could happen is they get lured into a sense of where they have to keep forcing because all the rounds keep going down to 1-on-2s, right? So every time Mousesports survive with 2 members, Gambit make the calculation and say, well, they've got no money, let's just go for it, right? And that's true, but if you don't win any of the rounds, then yeah, you're right. You can't really have perfect T rounds.
Well, here's going to be the opening shot from Chris. Not going to miss it. Easy as pie, looking for the follow-up, and the pressure is there. Where is his teammate? Lowell dropping the ball. They maintain the man advantage, but that's not going to be good enough. He gets caught by Doja now.
He was boosted up, but the smoke was blocking him. That's so unfortunate. Now Dennis gonna hit a shot, and Oscar will take down Adren. Rops will fall to Zeus. Oh, sorry, Zeus will fall to Rops, and that will be the end of it. Mousesports now with a 4-0 lead, and this time they survive with 3 members alive. That's a really big change. It might not seem like a lot, but that's the beginning of a real economy on the Mousesports side. Gambit don't get the bomb plant down, and yeah, what are they gonna do? Buy some Tech 9, some armor? It looks like it.
Oh, that's painful for Mousesports, though. They don't succeed in saving Chris J's op. And so that was actually a very expensive round for Mousesports. So they saved Oscar's because he survives, but they weren't able to make it to the back of the site fast enough to pick up Chris's. And so he has to tap into his bank. You can see he's left on $50. Whereas over on Gambit's side of things, well, it is going to be that save. So Kevlar, some Tech 9s, a couple of nades on Zeus, quickly into apartments. Idrin looking for the shot, trying to bait it out. Dennis holding short, though. And he will eventually get the spray. Headshot wallbang on Adren.
This is very interesting. Hobbit actually hasn't killed anybody yet either, and we're sort of talking about him as one of the potentials to really have an impact for Gambit. He has not had a good start to this game, and that's obviously a problem. Chris, with a flick, he did hit that shot right through the wall. There's no reason why they should take any risks at all right now. Again, Mousesports, just save all the weapons. If you have a flawless round here, that will obviously be a problem.
Well, I want Zeus to call a timeout here after this round. You have 4 30-second timeouts. Get one into play. Right now, it's going to be the big key round here at the beginning of the half before you start moving into the half of it. And so, there we go. Follow up. And this is just a turkey shoot. Low will eventually go down, but that's all right. But now's the time if you go for a timeout if you're Gambit. because you get the full buy finally. You have 6,000 on Moo. You're going to have all of your nades and everything you want to do here. So, I mean, take the extra 30 seconds to discuss and figure out where you're going to go with this. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, Anders. Doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Something interesting to think about here, now that Mo has the AWP picked up, is that Oscar and Chris, but more so Oscar, has been really showing that he wants to take the fight.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that the T side here can actually get that fight early on.
What in the Sam hell are they doing?
Down the middle as well. This is madness, just pushing into second mid, trying to go for the spray. Dren will pick up one. Dennis with the refrag, and Doja's there. It's just an all-out brawl, and Chris to finish off Hobbit, and it's a 3-on-3.
Chaos.
What the hell?
I don't know, man. That's just chaos. That's a BDP right there. To just say, you know what, CT, we know they full buy it, and we're just going to charge mid anyway. Mousesports are trying to just completely mess with Gambit's head right now. They do not want to let Gambit hit their stride whatsoever. When you think that you're going to get a nice and easy round, Zeus, no, actually, we're just going to turn it into a chaotic situation where you're not going to know how to react. Luckily, the team flashes actually cost Mousesports an extra player there. I think it was Rops. Yeah. Who just got caught. He was flashed, he got caught in the back. Unfortunately, that could have been an even better situation for Mousesports.
A bit scary at this point in time here. Gambit down 5-0. They need to find a way to pick up a round and put the pressure back on the Mousesports team. Oscar at a bit of an off angle inside of that bomb side. At least he was holding a bit further out. That's more of the standard kind of setup. But yeah, I think makes sense to try and hold that off angle just because you know you're going to get probably smoked off. He's going to jump on top of the smoke instead to try and challenge it for the moment. If he does it now, Mo is waiting for him. Sees the gun barrel, almost takes him down. Bomb is going to be planted. Zeus with a headshot through the smoke. And with 20 seconds, it's going to be a 2-on-3 for the retake.
Yeah, perfectly done. And Mo is going to be able to spot Lowell jumping in through CT as well. Chris not going to have anything to do with this. And the money, it is still all right on Mousesports. They will get a good buy going into the next round. But Chris needs to save this AWP, make sure he backs off. And we'll see if he actually hands it over to Oscar or not.
Yeah, very important, I think, that they save this just one gun, because Lowell is a bit low on money. But everyone else is, is in a position where they could still buy. So definitely important.
Glad to see that from Zeus, however. Because usually you're going to go to the B side, right? You know, you're going to go to the smaller side. There's going to be one guy holding there. You've got the 3. He grouped his guys up. He didn't leave a lurker or anything like that. He was like, we just group as 3 and we bum rush the site, and it's a perfect call. It works out.
The fish lost Semler. They're all exploded.
The thing is that those fish being so close exploded. Were there fish to begin with, Anders? Because there's not going to be anything left.
Fish soup. I think Moses was trying to point that out during the last tournament, so we'll keep that alive for the moment. But yeah, that's actually a flawless execute from them. They don't lose anybody. It's a 3-on-3. They finished, all 3 members alive. So that's big news for Gambit. That's also a bit of confidence being built. You don't want to have a slow start in the major tournament, and with this Swiss format, it's so hard to make your way through. Like, it's really brutal. So yeah, I'm curious how it'll play out now for Mousesports. We do have the tactical timeout being called for them, just to try and settle everything down, slow it down, make sure no one gets panicked at all. And they still have the double open to play.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in the fact that Mousesports, this is becoming their go-to strategy. This is the first tactical timeout here used by Mousesports, not by Gambit, so Zeus benefits.
They bought an MP7 too many.
I don't know why people are buying the MP7. I guess because of the accuracy, the run and gun accuracy on it. It's pretty good. But I mean, UMP, MP9, pretty much the only 2 SMGs you should be buying.
It's going to be people who want to argue with you about that.
Well, sure, they can, but it's cost too much. The MP7 costs too much versus risk. Like, when you have the MP9 or the UMP, why would you spend even more money on an MP7?
Yeah, it's true. Dennis with a good spray on one, but not enough to get the second kill. Hobbit now being put into play, and it's about time that we see him do a bit more here in the first half. Rops up on the railing, just waiting, and it's going to be a lot of people peeking him at the same time. He overpeaks the corner. Hobbit gets the kill, but Doja goes down, and Oscar's going to fail it. Hobbit with a third of the round. Took him a while, but now that he's finally here, it's looking really good. Mo to pick off Lowell, holding it with the bomb all the way back there. Imagine if he goes down instead, but he doesn't, and now Chris has moved all the way up onto the side. It's a 1 versus 2. I don't think they can guess that he's here.
Yeah, I don't think they spotted this.
No, this is an incredibly unlikely position. Might not have. I don't think they will have heard the scoping either, so this can actually work for Chris.
He's spotted. The game is up. Wallbang down to 9 HP as well. Terrific damage, misses the shot, and now he's stuck. And Mo, he's not going to wait around. Hobbit, you're the sacrificial lamb. But it's not going to matter. He will survive in the end. Managed to get that kill on Chris J. But Mo not wasting a second. You know where Chris is? Great, he's stuck on the A site. Instantly rotates off, takes the bomb towards B. Smart play coming in from Gambit. That has allowed them to chain 2 rounds together here in the T side.
Great, the Mousesports economy, and I think what we just saw is a prime example of how disciplined the Gambit team is. Because I actually think most people, because they know Chris is playing the B-bomb side, once they get all those kills, Hobbit opens it up with a triple, you just go and plant the bomb right away, you know, just run up, get that bomb down. But they clearly sort of said, we don't know where he is, just slow down. Don't do anything until we know. And then when they found out, you're right, they even tried to put the bomb over at B instead. So that's wonderful, that's very good to see. Now it's 5-2, and Zeus knows they don't have any armor.
Woo. Nice HE, and Mo, he doesn't even let a teammate take it. No assist here. Claims the kill for himself. He wants those eco frags. Zeus with the MAC-10, of course, wants to do the same. Build a little bit more of that economy for himself. And this is just going to be the run and gun here onto the B site. They're figuring it out, that this isn't in fact a stack, and that they should be able to just walk onto the site now and get the bomb plant.
Yeah, and it's so risk-free with the MAC-10 leading the charge. Like, you've got no worry at all. You see Zeus doing a fine job just checking all the angles, and it's going to be an easy enough plan. I wish Doja would follow up with the rest of the team just so that they can never lose the AK down there at the bottom of Banana. But ultimately, this is all going according to plan here for Gambit. Suddenly, this first half is looking very open. Oh, that's a nice headshot. Lol, taking a kill.
It kind of makes me sick to see Ops, though, getting kills in anti-ecos, right, Anders? Because, I mean, like, if you've invested in, like, the SMG,
yeah.
MAC-10, right? Or even a rifle, or a pistol, right? You're getting $300, you're getting $600, and then you got the Op that gets a kill in an anti-eco, and it's like, well, you only just made $100, man. You know, like, maybe leave it for Zeus to find that kill in CT, because he's hunting right now, you know? Let him get that money. But, hey, man, stats.
I was worried about that AK getting lost down there, and it just did, and they can't really catch him either, so unless they know a really good wall bang through that wall with the AWP, which is possible. But that's a big slip-up if you're on Gambit's side, giving away... I mean, it's not so bad that Zeus goes down. Maybe it's a bit annoying that he gets to save the Molotov and the MAC-10.
Right.
But it's that AK that's definitely an issue.
Is he really going to hold on to the MAC-10?
Yeah, I probably, why not? Like, I mean, as long as you play the right position, that can work. But what I really hope happens, yeah, is that they go aggressive with it.
Yeah, he plays B, so I mean, you've got some close angles to hold, but it's like the MAC-10, I don't know, it feels like just a little bit of a risk. When he has 2,000.
Just let Chris flash him in, you know, go to the corner and then let Chris set up for a flashbang. But instead they are going to fall all the way back, and we'll see. 9th round is coming up. Gambit have won 3 in a row after the initial tyranny of Mousesports. Got a much more passive setup this time for the CT side, except for Oscar, who's playing forward with the UMP. The other two are playing towards the pit.
He's just waiting for that go signal to get that incendiary down. Just waiting. There are the nades, and there's the incendiary. Very quick. It is going to buy a little bit of time here, right on the edge, stopping that mid push, but Adren just goes barreling through from Boiler, up short, straight onto the site. Chris with an instant headshot, though, finds the opening pick here from Mousesports. Mousesports haven't taken a single point of damage yet.
And they're all stacked on the bomb side. Finally, Zeus and Hoppy come into it with a couple of kills. Chris up on the box is going to get knocked out as well. Zeus with a great opening, wrapping around, and Hobbit to take down Lowell. That looked like such an unlikely... First of all, it's out of, you know, Gambit's style. They pushed at 1 minute and 10 seconds, but they also pushed into a 4-man stack. You're supposed to do it every time.
Chris had a great headshot there to start things off, but, you know, losing that fight versus Zeus, I think that's the key moment, the turning point. It's these chaotic situations, you know, Anders, where anything can happen. Zeus getting so quick up to library, catching the first guy for free, and then winning the duel versus Chris. I mean, you got to give it to Zeus. Big performance from him. And that is going to hurt Mousesports, but a little bit of an edgy smoke here, and there's the shot. Oscar, though, again, not going to hit the flick. A little bit of frustration, you can see it. The head shake from him. He's not happy about that. This is another opportunity that could have given his team a strong opening. Instead, it's Hobbit finding the headshot on Chris. And now we're cooking with gas here. Gambit, they could just press onto the B side. They know they have an opening.
It's pretty remarkable to see Hobbit coming back in style like this. It can be very hard individually as a player if you have a bad start to spark you. Like usually people end up doing it in the second half because then they have some time to breathe. But Hobbit, he was quiet for the first 5 rounds and then boom, 7 kills on him right now. And these openings are so good. It really makes a big difference. And Mousesports, look at the gamble they're taking. They're saying, listen, we're not going to be able to defend this having 2 on either bomb side, not with this weaponry and not with the lack of grenades. We're going to have to go for the stack.
I like this a lot. Multiple flashes are going to go sailing in. Very clean execute here so far. Dennis, however, not going to spot the man going through the smoke. Yes, he is. Drops right on top of him, but he loses his teammate Lola in the meantime. Not going to get lucky through the smoke, maybe with the spray.
Oh, what a shot from Moscow, right through the coffins, taking down Zeus as he was planting, but in the end, Adren just comes charging through, and even with the stack, Mousesports are still going to lose the round. That could have been something there. If Oscar had managed to get back after that shot, if he could have got far enough back into the ruins, that would have been interesting. 5 for 5 now. Scoreline is all tied up moving into the 11th round, and Mousesports economy, I mean, it's almost like the panelists know what they're talking about. They were talking about this, whole CT economy.
Kind of important. I mean, you lose rounds, and now this is just that half-buy situation now for Mousesports, I think. If they force here, they're really giving Gambit the chance. But if you let Gambit get up onto 6 rounds, then you get your buy. If this double op strategy is really key for you, you need to have as much money as possible to make that work. It's a very risky strategy. And so, well, not sure who took the timeout here.
I think it would have been, I think it actually was maybe a technical thing. I think Lowell lost his sound as far as I can tell.
Oh, okay, it's a technical.
Yeah. So we'll get that cleared right up, and then everything should be good. Actually, it's already fixed. Who are these PGL admins that just snap of the fingers somewhere and they're on it? It's good work.
It's almost like they run tournaments all the time.
It does feel like it, doesn't it?
Like it's a well-oiled machine over here.
Hobbit is going to stick on the Mac 10, which is all right, but they do have body armor on Mousesports' side. So they've sort of invested a bit into this round, Mousesports. Are you okay with this? I'm okay with this.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like, this is what they need to do. If they're going to go for the double AWP, they need to just be willing to take a round in the teeth here. They give themselves a chance to do some damage and, maybe win it. But the main thing here is that they're going to be prepared. Come on, Chris. Took it a little bit of time there to finally get the kill, but they have the man advantage, and they got the info. Quick rotate over, and Rop's holding aggressive in Palace and Apartments. It actually works for once.
You just have to love watching Rob's play. Like, he's very young, and his aim is so crisp right now. You can just tell no hesitation at all in getting that frag and putting Gambit in a bit of a strange position. They still have the weapon advantage, but they're in a 4-on-3, and now Dennis is going to move closer with the CSET 75. Back at that bomb site, Chris J with that Mac 10, he might be the guy to actually hold this and keep it alive, and smartly using the 5-7 as well.
Yes, and he just needs to sit tight. Let his teammates work. Because they're still low over on the A side, but he's holding passive graveyard. They have very little information to go off of here right now, Mousesports, except that, well, Gambit, they've infiltrated CT. So they can still swing B or A.
Yeah.
Adrian is just, all he's waiting for is for somebody to peek on this B site.
Look at the thought that's going into this from Gambit's point of view. They know that it's really risky rushing onto that B bomb side. That's probably what they wanted. Now they are eventually going to have to do it. Grenade comes in. Chris is gone. And he saw that he hit the shot. He saw the blood on the wall, I believe, and Ren. He's going to get that kill. Mo with the refrag on Rops, and now the bomb is going to be going down for a 2-on-2 here. Very hard for Lowell and Dennis to do anything about, but Mo almost getting caught. That could have been the moment.
That was it, but they have recovered the AK. Now Dennis instantly swapping to it, but there's the first pick. Lowell trying to slow walk his way in, hoping for the backstab, hoping for Dennis to draw too much attention to himself and give him the opening. Instead, it's now Dennis in a 1v2. Caught in a crossfire. He's got a kit and Kevlar, but they're going to peek them together. Dren went first, but his teammate Mo wasn't far behind. And now Gambit have the lead. Still, that was a round of eco for Mousesports. And they succeeded in doing quite a bit of damage there.
That was a very good job, but it's also a great job from Gambit to, like, once you get into CT spawn, I can guarantee you the pressure is on to do something. Like, the whole team is going to be sort of, the jitters are going to be there. It's like, come on, we need, like, and Sush just slows it down. He says, no, let's just hold, like, right now, we're actually just defending CT spawn for a long time. And then eventually they see the opening. It's just very smart. Again, very disciplined. You have to appreciate that the team is so structured. Like, there's no doubt that everyone is listening to Sush right now. 6 and 5. They've won 6 rounds in a row here, Gambit. That's impressive.
once they've taken control of that economy. Mousesports, they're fighting hard to get it back, but Gambit are just not cooperating right now. And once again, moving into apartments, but Oscar has the aggressive angle, and he will find the shot on the edge of the smoke. Loving to see this.
By the way, that corner that Oscar is standing in is exactly where the bullets land if people start wallbanging. So that's a huge risk if he's just sort of lingering there for a long time, but this time Gambit won.
This is the thing, when you hardly ever see CTs holding aggressive because of those wallbangs, then it almost becomes a benefit for the CTs because they're just not going to expect anybody to be holding there. So now maybe you start wallbanging again, you hold somewhere else, you give up Palace. The mind games, they're real. That's bought a lot of time here. We're down to 45 seconds already in this clock.
Oh. Mo, gotta be very careful. Rops is gonna sneak his way through. And he had a bit of backup up top as well, so 2 opening frags and a third one for good measure. Chris J in the B-bomb site. Doja and Zeus gonna be in a lot of trouble here. Doing damage would be really valuable right now. Zeus is low on health and they're starting to make their way in. They get the kill on Oscar at least. That's a good frag.
They're doing some damage here. There's still a chance. 19 seconds. Chris still alive. Spots out Doja, boosted over the smoke, and he's still low alive as well. As soon as Zeus pushes around this corner, he should be going down, but it doesn't matter. Chris will go for the peak quick enough to find the shot. And so Mousesports, they've tied it up 6-6. They finally end the streak. But there's plenty of money to buy here for Gambit, and so the pressure is still on. 3 rounds left in this first half. Who's going to come out ahead?
Mousesports can't let it go now. If they lose this next round, then it's a lot of trouble for them. Chris is looking tuned in as well. This is the sort of Chris here that everybody likes to watch. A very good, a triple kill in the round for him as well. A lot of AKs, no AWP this time on the Gambit side, but so many smokes and Molotovs as well. It's going to be interesting. Lots of positions you could probably Molotov on this map that people haven't found out yet.
But look at the aggression from Dennis up in Palace. Or no, is he boosted on short again? Yeah, okay, he's boosted up on short. I was about to say, like, again you're going Palace. This is starting to get a little bit on the edge here. But this is, you see how passively like Adren and Doja are working their way through Palace now because of, through AAPs, right? Because of the aggression from Mousesports now, Gambit can't take it for granted that this is going to be free. Now they actually have to peek around the corners and waste just a little bit more time checking.
Oscar's got the boiler angle. Duran just a couple of steps from losing his life. Instead, with the grenades coming in, he's going to be falling back. Rops not hitting the initial shot. Dennis with a great triple spray down, knocking out Adren, Mo, and Hobbit. And Zeus finally with a refrag. It might not have been enough here. He might have done everything he needed to. Doja coming in with a one shot on Oscar. And Molotov not going to hit Lowell this time. Flashbang as well. Can Lowell stop the plant? He actually can't.
No, this favors Gambit now. This is a Gambit situation. They have the crossfire set up, and sure enough, Doja are going to catch Chris J. Lowell, 1v2, and he's getting caught, but he will find the shot on one, not the second. Zeus just decides to peek, be bold, take the fight, look for it. But what is going on with Oscar? He is missing shots now with the AWP. He dies doing no damage there. You got to wonder what's going on here because that is the key moment where you have the man advantage. You should be able to actually at least trade 1-for-1. You win your team the round if you trade 1-for-1 there. What a spray from Dennis.
That's so beautiful, isn't it? Like, well done on Dennis' part. But after this, they're in a 3 versus 5, and yeah, you see the reaction coming out from the Mousesports team there. And Dennis sort of a deep sigh, saying, "Did so much. You gave me so little."
The only reason the team was in the round.
Yeah.
After that, all of his teammates just like, guys, please help. 6-7, and now, well, Mousesports, it's forced buy territory. Time to get in here and just start buying up because you've run out of time, you've run out of space. Early 3 players over on B for Mousesports, though. A little bit of the challenge.
I'm fine with them forcing. I wish they, well, Oscar is a bit aggressive here. I think that's important. He needs to be that. He's missing the shot again, but if you buy that AWP, you sort of have to go and look for a kill with it. And now that Gambit have heard it on this side of the map, gotta push the other side instead.
Yeah, he took one last shot before rotating off, but I think he needed to rotate just a little bit quicker there for Oscar because now he's going to be a little late to the party over here on A. As they start to execute Gambit, they're going to get more and more comfortable. And they've left Arch intentionally open. Oscar, now's the time to hit the shot.
Very dangerous. He's going to try for the gap shot, but those are very hard to hit. And he's not going to be able to do it this time either. 40 seconds left. They've heard the orb, so they know exactly where he is. They've got a very good read. I think Gambit know exactly what's going on in this round. Robs again close with the pistol, taking a kill. He's been very good at that. Dennis with one, and a second as well. Dennis making it work. Robs is going to be taking down Mo, and Oscar to finish the round. It's flawless from Mousesports. Unbelievable. Man, someone is going to have to buy Dennis a beer later on or something. These couple of rounds have just been amazing for him. Robs as well, with 13 kills, tied with Zeus on the other team.
You know who else is shouting unbelievable? This is unbelievable because they literally have everybody from Gambit literally standing on top of like 4 players from Mousesports on that A site. 30 seconds left, and they still haven't found an opening kill? It's like, where's Mousesports? Are they all ninjas now all of a sudden? Can we just not see them?
He's hiding all the way in the back there. Those close-range pistols, the 5.7, the P250, one shot, and on Inferno, I mean, almost all of the corners are going to be like that.
Yeah.
So having someone like Robs who can just knock it open, that's very hard to deal with. That's where you really need to use Molotovs to burn out everything that's close range, but that's easier said than done.
Well, we've got a battle now. This is a full buy from Mousesports. Double AWP in play once again, but it's going to be the force coming in from Gambit. They only have a single AK to work with. And so now, it looks like it is going to be the 5 players ready to go here on the A site. That perfectly timed Molotov, though, up in the apartments.
So perfectly timed because the smokes are already in from the middle. So they sort of have to do something. Now, the whole push is really disjointed. Like, they're not really getting the right timing here on Oscar. Hitting one shot, Dennis and Lowell chiming in. This is slightly falling apart for Gambit. Still a 2-on-3, but Adren is on 5 health.
And they've got bomb control here. And that's why Doja has to work his way back over here with that AK. Adrian hoping that somebody's going to overstep towards Library Arch. You've got 30 seconds. That isn't a whole lot of time here. You need to find a kill to create some space with the bomb sitting right in the middle of T. And that's eventually going to mean Adrian's death. Doja, 1v3. And little does he know, you've got Chris J at the bottom of mid waiting for the shot. And there we go. Perfectly done from Mousesports. Last 2 rounds of this half, they managed to make it work, and they come out ahead 8-7 on CT side Inferno. Not too shabby.
Yeah, this is a very workable scoreline. I think it's really impossible to predict who's going to end up winning now, but just a job well done. 7 rounds for Gambit, and they had a streak of winning 6 in a row. That in itself is sort of crazy, but yeah, I'm kind of excited now. I feel like in the beginning it looked like Mousesports was just going to run away with everything. We were going to have one of those games on our hands, but
you get that CT lockdown, and I think it's just nerves. Nerves started jingling and jangling, and people started missing shots on Mousesports. And all of a sudden, you've got Gambit sitting at 7 rounds going into the second half. But if Mousesports win this pistol, I think the pressure is really going to ramp up here for Gambit.
Well, if you are just tuning in, if you manage to stumble into this broadcast, then you're watching the first map of the PGL Major, and it's Mousesports versus Gambit, and it's already been electrifying, and it's absolutely only going to get better throughout the day. We've got so much coming away. Another 7 best-of-1s today.
Yep.
There's a lot of Counter-Strike happening. We're still in the group stage, obviously, and now second half is coming up here. Mousesports on the T side.
Yeah, this is almost playing out exactly as it did in the first half. Adrian somehow, no headshots for you this time, Oscar. No kills. He gets snuffed early on here. But Doja did exactly what Dennis did on the A side, jumping through apartments, checking second mid, checking mid, right? A little bit of a fadeaway there, and then you take the fight at Banana. It's just both of these teams just mirroring each other on how they're approaching their CT sides and the pistols.
Great win for Gambit to get that early kill. They've stacked 3 on the B bomb site, 2 on A, so Mousesports could still find a way to come through with a win here. Trying to do it early on. Another headshot raining in, this time on Mo, but Doja in the pit. He's going to take one. They're getting close. Robs will get that kill. Unbelievably. I hope we see that from his point of view. And now it's a 3-on-3. The bomb has gone down, and Mousesports are now back in the driving seat until Zeus picks up Dennis. Just a bit of his head showing on top of that box. That's one hell of a headshot. And now it's Robs and Chris.
Not needing to overextend, but Adrian finds Drops, and it's on Chris now to hold it. He's down to 7 HP, needs to charge forward and look for the fight. Adrian was very low as well on 8 HP. That could have been a different situation, but Hobbit, he was so close by. Just an impossible situation there for Chris, unfortunately for him, getting instantly headshot down.
Yeah, but he did the right thing. I think if you're stuck in the corner and you just wait for them to close in, you're not going to win. Like, he should have probably tried to fight that. Otherwise, he would have almost certainly been dead anyway. Mousesports winning the pistol. Scoreline is looking... Oh, sorry, Gambit winning the pistol. Scoreline is tied up. 8-8. And look at what Mousesports are buying. They realize, wait a minute, Zeus, we can play that game too.
Exactly, right? It's actually just taking advantage of the pistol, and they've gone a 1-up as well. They've actually managed to pick up 2 AKs on Mousesports' side. Thing is, the difference here, we're seeing Mo with the scout, misses the shot completely, puts it right into the wall. A little bit of jittery there.
But he hears the AK, and that's so valuable. Now Gambit are alert. Like, they should definitely think about saving as many grenades as possible here. This is interesting. And Mousesports don't have really money to buy for the next round, so this is sort of more of an all-in as to Gambit, who sort of, bought 1 AK and then bought in the next round anyway. That's a nice headshot. That's what you want to see.
Can Lowell pick up that second AK? It's going to be Rops, but he doesn't have Kevlar, so I'd like to see that handed over to Lowell. Sure enough, that's exactly what's going to happen, making sure that when they drop it, it doesn't make any noise. Now, well, it's going to be the gather rush straight onto the B side, it looks like here from Mousesports. Bit of the run and gun. They've got 2 smokes, so they can at least set up the coils, or the coffins now, smoke and the CT smoke. Get those 2 down, Molotov into the back corner, and just run onto the site. Get in there, boys.
Good little counter grenade coming out, trying to slow it down. The spray to the smoke is got here from Adren. Look at the damage being output here. Hobbit's going to have to fall back, but that's perfectly fine. Just go for the retake with the whole team. There's a grenade in the hand of Zeus as well. It does actually not hit anybody at all, but Adren with a boost up gets a quick double. And Lowell and Oscar are in a lot of trouble right here. Lowell gets 1 headshot, Oscar with the second. And now it's all on Oscar here. He's done a great job so far, but he doesn't expect the double peak coming in. And it's going to be the round for Gambit.
Plenty of time. And just making sure that no NACS is possible here. Don't run away before the bomb goes. Don't let the guy with the kit defuse the bomb. This is a lesson we learned this weekend.
Yeah, why you have to bring that up, Samler? That was physically painful to watch.
It was agony. It was actual agony. I think you could feel it transmitted through the screen. Finesse's face at that point. Yep. Well, NA just need to keep improving, right? They just need to keep showing that anything is possible in this game.
Ooh, well, listen, we've got Cloud9 in this tournament, and
no pressure.
I personally feel like they've been playing very well. I'm super impressed by them. So I actually have really high hopes for Cloud9 to go far in this.
They should make it top 8 here. Now, whether they go deeper than that, that's going to be the real question. But I mean, you can't really take Cloud9 lightly. The only issue here is that I think the teams were kind of taking Cloud9 lightly. And now, well, you go that deep in Cologne, okay, time to take you a bit more seriously here for the major. So it's going to be a question of whether or not Cloud9 can actually step up to the challenge here at the major versus the best in the world.
Yes, indeed. A quick tactical timeout, and then we will be back in the game in just a second here. The scoreline being 9-8 in favor of Gambit. Winning that round is obviously really big for them, and I'm curious how Mousesports will respond. It seems like Gambit are going to have a pretty good start to their CT side as well. Oh, and would you look at that?
Why not?
So this is where Gambit had, Galils and AKs to actually fight with, and Mousesports heavy in the last round. They have just, bought a bit less in this one, but still not bad. Still definitely winnable.
Time to go all in.
Oh, is it going to be the flashbang from the middle? So the fact that Chris is in there and he's got the double flash and everyone is in the apartment is sort of at least some sort of a giveaway that they could be trying to set up for sort of the rush out of apartments with 3 people coming out.
A lot of nades getting used up in apartments, though. It's not going to leave a whole whacking lot here for Gambit, but the smoke goes down to buy a little bit more time. And Chris, is he aware that they have pushed down Banana this quickly? Because Hobbit is now just going to be camping here, waiting.
Trying to find the right timing. Chris, I think, made a bit of noise jumping up, so Hobbit probably would have heard that. Yeah, every time he does this, Hobbit is, sort of saying, well, there's at least one in sort of mid somewhere. There's the flashbang close in. Actually, they're not going to come out of apartments instead. They just want to take that top mid control. That's kind of interesting.
Forcing Gambit back, denying Gambit information. You can see from the positioning here now, balcony, pit, And then holding in front of Library. Gambit are pretty much as far back as you can get. And so they're looking for that element of surprise here, but it doesn't look like it's going to work because Hobbit, playing for information, just pushed Banana. He's at bottom mid. He's shooting Chris in the back, and he's going to find the kill eventually, and that just throws everything out of whack here for Mousesports. Rotation has already come in from Adren, and now this is it. Doja, he's going to have a field day.
Lol and Oscar with a couple of refrags, and Hobbit and Dren left. Long range fighting going on. Dennis will take down Hobbit. It falls apart with only 12 seconds left there. It looked like maybe Gambit could have been playing for time and just trying to wait until they actually get that bomb plant in there, but Mousesports with a remarkable job, and that's going to really throw a wrench in the works here.
Okay, that's just because they go straight apartments and short. They don't even care about Library. They just go straight in onto the A site as a group, as a unit there. That's really what made the difference for Mousesports, because Gambit, that's the kind of round where it kind of makes you sick to your stomach if you're Gambit, where you're just like, man, you know, we had everything going for us here. We knew where they were coming from. We got the first kill on Chris. And so the pressure is on for Mousesports, and we still can't hold.
And to be honest, Gambit had done a really good job delaying the apartment side with Grenade. Like, they had a Molotov down at like 28 seconds in apartments. That's very hard to deal with, except Mousesports didn't care. It's like, that's not a problem for us because we've got 3 men pushing quad, so by all means, use all your grenades in apartments. It's not really going to matter that much to us. Well, it'll only slow down 1 person, and not even that much.
Yep. Let's see it. Through the smoke, maybe? Or just as the smoke clears? It's going to be through the smoke. A little bit of the Fnatic here.
Close range with a CSAT 75. Doja will pick up 1 kill as well. Mousesports, you made it through the smoke, and then you kept on pushing. Now Adren moving in behind. Take down Lol. Trying for a second shot, just blind through. Oscar turning around with the kill, going for a second spray, but Hobbit is going to win the fight, and now it's all on Robs, and he's going to get 1 at least. Got the grenade out, and he's down to 12 health here. Gambit, if they steal this round back, Mousesports are going to be furious.
Absolutely, but they've got a little bit of the mind game going. He's making good use of his time here, Robs. Running back to B, making them second-guess themselves, and he's succeeded in splitting them up. Now he's got a duel. He's got a series of duels that he gets to work with here. And so it's a matter of finding Doja. Good bit of utility here on Rops as well, and so he could get a Molotov out if he wants, but he definitely does not want to be swapping anything out. He wants to have that gun in hand at all times to check all of these angles, make sure that he finds the headshot if the chance is there, and I'm pretty sure he spotted the gun barrel, and so Doja, the game is up. Sure enough, Rops, no, misses the shot! Doja stepping out, the X-God, ruining it for Rops.
Oh, you hate to see that. Just look at his face. He had everything working out so well. The gun barrel was all he needed to take that shot. Admittedly, that was going to be a hard 2v1 regardless, but he actually played it very well.
Dude, Hobbit had like 10 HP.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like then it's anybody's round at that point. If it's a 1v1, he needs to find Doja. And again, this time it's Mousesports. Like, well, we had the info, and we just couldn't actually capitalize on it.
Second tactical timeout for Mousesports being called. I think that's not such a bad idea. Gambit looking interesting right now. They just need to start that economy rolling somehow. How can they actually cement that part of the game? Because that's still lacking at the moment.
This is where it starts, Anders. It looks like Mousesports, they're getting cold feet.
Yeah.
It is time now to just simply go for the hard eco if you're on Mousesports. And this is going to be, should be the feel-good round here for Gambit, where they can actually breathe a little bit. You've got 2 UMPs. Get those UMPs in play. Start farming up some cash. You really, if you're Gambit at this point, double nade onto Oscar. No hiding, no safe place. But this is it. Keep everybody alive right now if you're Gambit. Or go super aggressive. That works too.
As long as they don't lose too many rifles. That's such a great aim from Adren.
1 HP on Hobbit.
Yeah, it's the spray transition into tapping. Like, that's the recoil goes all over the place when you try and do that, but apparently not for Adren. He is such a beast on this particular team, and look at him, 19 kills.
Leading the way. Leading the way. That's exactly what you need from Adren here for Gambit to stand a chance. Some of that clean aim. Boom. It's art. It's art.
Yeah, that is not easy at all. 11-9. The only thing we're missing is one of those classic Adren winks into the camera.
Yeah.
Very, very good at those as well. Maybe we can get one later on.
It's still early days, Anders.
Yes, yes, indeed. How is this going to play out? 2 UMPs, 1 scout, and 2 AKs on the Gambit side. So, sure, they've got a 2-round lead, but this is a weird buy that they've got going on right now. Mousesports could take full advantage of this.
Instead, we're going into the default sort of approach here. Both teams, both teams just sitting and waiting. Who's going to win the duel first? It's not going to be anybody over on A. Gambit are holding way back, and we're not quite late enough in the round, especially when they are playing exactly this far forward on Banana. On A side, they don't need to be taking too many risks. It's their teammates over here who are somehow going to get out nearly unscathed. All those bullets go through that smoke, and yet Doja, he's fine. Everybody's fine over here. That's unreal. Doja's fine. He's over in the pit.
Look for a minute like it could get a bit scary. I think Chris saw the angle of the smoke when it came in, so he had an idea that someone was going to be by the tree, but now they're clearing out all of Banana. This is all good for Mousesports. There's only one issue. The fact that there's 25 seconds left on the clock, and that's a really big issue. Mousesports, not particularly well known for executing this late in the round. Hobbit up on the box as well with the UMP, gonna pick up the kill on Chris, and now it's all falling apart. Mo with the Tech 9 kill, Hobbit doing it again, and now the flashes are in. Hobbit with a third headshot coming in, he's wrecking Mousesports, and Lowell now gonna be in a 1 versus 5, and he goes down. No chance at all. That's such a strong defense being put up, and I think you could tell that Mousesports was like, hey, let's try and edge our way into the bomb site with 20 seconds. It's like, what if one grenade goes down, or what if Hobbit is there? Man, Hobbit is, I don't know, what a phenomenal player. 11-9, and he's got, 14 kills or something at this point.
Yeah, he played that position perfectly as well. And you can see the frustration, I think, there from Chris J, starting to talk a little bit. But it's another round of eco here for Mousesports. So you're going to have plenty more time, if you are Mousesports, to talk things over, because this is just going to be a bloodbath. Zeus will find his shot, Mo as well. So Chris, Lowell, and Rops, last 3 alive here for Mousesports. Gambit are not afraid to use their utility here. They're just throwing nades left and right. Not trying to save anything for the next round.
And being quite aggressive, just like in the previous round. We're sort of mentioning that a bit. Not giving any space for Mousesports to move around or any time to talk anything over. Doja will get the last kill of the round, and that's 13 for Gambit Esports now with a 4-round lead. In the first map of the PGL Major. That has to feel just great. And it was looking shaky for a while. Now it feels like they're in prime position to actually win this first map. They really haven't done it yet, and it can still change a lot, but I'm really liking what we're seeing here.
Oscar still topping out the ADR for Mousesports. It's always so weird with Oscar. It's like you see him, you spectate him, either he hits the flicks or he doesn't, but then you start spectating somebody else. He just seems to find kills again, like under the radar, right? It's going to be the buy once again, and it looks like we're setting up for that mid flash. Oscar going to be the one. Not even going to wait for the smoke. There's the HE. The timing is good. Flashing right through. Nobody there to greet him from Gambit. However, on the other side of the smoke, it's going to be Doja lining him up with the UMP. 1, 2, and 3. Get out! Perfect hold from him. And that leaves it down, well, to Chris. 1v5.
In a really tragic way, Mousesports actually lost just like they did last time they tried that. And it's that flashbang, it's great for clearing out if anyone is like under the canopy or anything like that, but they want to push all the way around the corner. Like they keep pushing behind one flashbang. There's no chance that flashbang will keep someone blind forever.
They get the follow-up flash in. There was a follow-up flash, but it just doesn't blind Doja.
No, like I feel like it, and plus the counter smoke was out from Gambit, the one that's actually right at that corner where all the corpses are.
Yeah.
So once you see that, maybe you should be thinking, actually, let's just cancel this right away, Because pushing through the smart, I just think you're putting too much faith in, even if it's 2 flashbangs. Like that's risky.
It's like an information flash, really. It's like either you force them off, and then you get top mid. Great, cool. Did you get a kill? No. Well, all right. You still have that map control. Well, Chris snuffed.
Yeah, it's like if someone is close, maybe you flash and kill him. If no one is close, then you get, you know, top mid. And then if you want to push around the corner, just set up more grenades, you know. 14-9. Mousesports. Some amount of trouble. As you can tell, they could buy 4 AKs and then maybe more realistically 2 AKs and a bunch of tech lines if they really wanted to go for it.
Do the tech 9s or do the UMPs?
Yeah, it's risky buying just AK head armor and then that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you need, unless you have some way to deal with the fact that Gambit are going to have all of the grenades to mess you up with and you're going to have none. I mean, it's basically like, oh, just execute B, I guess. CT smoke and run. Bit of a chat going on right now. I mean, he is still looking positive there, Coach, that is. LM talking a bit with Chris. Rops, though, somebody needs to give him a hug. He's doing a lot of humming and hawing and sighing over there right now. He needs to, I don't know, get a little bit more upbeat. You're not out of it yet.
Oh, definitely not. And actually, it'll be no AK, so just sort of going in the middle of the road here for Mousesports. They still have money for the next round, so they could fight for overtime, or they could just make this round work. Tech 9 armor is it's an Inferno classic, really. Okay.
Sick shot. 2 HP, now 1 HP on Robs, and they will eventually find the kill with the HE. Up close, though, Adrian challenging these Tech 9s, and that's going to cost him. Chris J taking point, finds the 2 headshots, and sure enough, they will make this work, Mousesports. This is unreal. Some aggression from Gambit, and that just that cost them so much. Run up close, play aggressive versus Tech 9s. Yes.
And all the grenades that they put out to Banana were at the bottom of Banana, and half the Mousesports team were waiting right behind that wall, so wow. That's a really, really big return on investment for Mousesports.
Yeah, interesting decision from Gambit. And, well, Mousesports, yeah, they can count their lucky stars because they went for the half-buy. So the gamble pays off this time, Anders. Now they're going to win this round. They're going to save a bunch of rifles in the mix as well. And they don't even care about hunting Gambit at this point. Just keep what you've got. Make sure that you got a way out of the site. Save what you've got. And your economy, all of a sudden, it's completely revitalized.
Just because you said that, I have to point out that Doja has 12,000, Zeus has 12,000 after the...
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much money on Gambit that Mousesports are going to have to fight every step of the way here to try and actually get that either win or overtime. Gambit are in a great position still, but that's obviously confidence building.
And they can go for the AWPs all day long if they want here, Mousesports. Those, I mean, they saved so much money. Rops on 3,000, 4,600 on LOL after buying. That's a feel-good moment here for Mousesports, and that should give them a little bit of a boost to their confidence. 10-14. Gambit still 2 points off, 2 rounds off the win in the first map of the Major. And Oscar, he's just like, you're going to hang around again? We're going to look for this shot. If you want to take this duel, Mo, let's dance.
I mean, when Oscar's on point, you don't want to fight him too much either. He's...
mind games. They're setting up the mid-flash again. A little bit of misdirection here. That might keep Gambit guessing.
Oh, that's good job on Mo to re-peek it, though. You're right. That's what they've been doing a number of rounds. Instead, it's going to be flash to top Banana. Spray comes in from Adren, and he's going to pick up 2 big kills behind that. I think Zeus even saw that shadow through the smoke, and Hopper will take down Dennis. Good communication, good play all around on the Gambit side here. Lowell and Oscar, 2 versus 5.
Yeah, sick work.
Yeah, that's just I mean, that's something that I've been complaining about a lot, the lack of the retake of Top Banana.
It's, I mean, just replaying off of Mo's communication there, off of his information that he's feeding over. Like, well, there is nobody mid. They did not actually push here, guys. And so what's the instant reaction? Flash Top Banana gets some info there. And sure enough, it works out perfectly. Adren picks up 2 headshots, 2 kills, and it's match point now, 5 of them for Gambit. At Mousesports, they still have, because of that successful round, they still have money to get that AWP into Oscar's hands. And the Galil on Dennis. Double op on T-side. All right, then Mousesports, let's go. Let's see, what are they going to do?
That's a bold move, isn't it?
Interesting, right? Interesting.
What does Lowell have? Did they sacrifice? I think Lowell sacrificed everything to get that orb on Chris.
Yeah, he had the most.
That's strange. Chris not going to make it work. Right away gets taken up by Mo. 4 more kills, and Gambit will pick up their first map here at the Major. Obviously, a great way to get started. Swiss format, obviously slightly more forgiving, but still gotta be careful. Rob's almost with the lineup. Looked like he had the headshot right through. They need some sort of kill to get back in this round, Mousesports. They're fighting for overtime right now. They need 5 in a row. Oscar goes down to Mo, who started to step it up with the AWP now. It's not looking good at all. Dennis is going to get the kill on Lowell, leaving Doja, leaving just Dennis in a 1 versus 4 here. Going to pick up 1 kill, and you have to think there's almost no chance that he could do this. He's boxed in.
And sure enough, there it is. End days for Mousesports, at least here at the beginning. 16-10 victory for Gambit in their first match of the Major. Mousesports, they're going to get into that 0-1 category where they will be playing against a team who loses, right? You can only play against teams that have the same score as you, right? And so Gambit will have a little bit more of a difficult match tomorrow.
Inferno, really interesting map. Usually we see so many sort of late rounds in this one where it goes to like, you know, plus 25 rounds, and saw a really great showing here. I think this could have been all 30 rounds as well. The really deciding difference is that Gambit had so much money at the end, and that's actually what Mousesports didn't have. Because when Gambit won their first 6 rounds or 5 rounds or whatever it was on the T side, that just broke the Mousesports economy. Gambit never had to deal with the same sort of thing. So absolutely beautiful Counter-Strike coming out of them. And we said we haven't seen very much out of the Gambit team for a while. They've been sort of absent. And I know someone was posting this on Reddit saying, you know, how many hours people have played, and Gambit had so many. They'd really been stepping up.
Yeah, but like these hours things, like I know for a fact that half of Gambit just leave CS logged in as well. So you actually have no way of knowing, like, is he actually playing or not? Sorry, let's.
But you can tell when people have too low. I think actually it's a pretty good indicator if you know precisely how much it is, and you can always talk to people as well.
Oh yeah,
that's
right. Zeus is legendary for that. He just leaves it logged in like 20.
Yeah.
Oh, but he has 180 hours.
Well,
like,
I think people can do the math and figure out that's not true.
Come on, guys.
Still think it's an interesting indication. All right, well, we're going to go to the desk and figure out what the panelists have to say. Let's take it over to Paul.
Thanks very much, yes. And as is similar with our first game of the day, Gambit are victorious. The Legends continue where they left off at Eleague. They open things up with a 1-0. We're back with our panel members, Fifth Laren and Moses once more to break it down and find out what they made of this opening match. Robin, it's a good start from a team that we didn't really know what sort of form they were in. I think they've just answered that very wholeheartedly.
Yeah, no, for sure. I did say that they were going to be good on Inferno. I don't know why I didn't put on.
I don't know why you didn't either. Listen, it's a rough start. Just take your victories where you get them. You haven't said the F word yet, so we're good.
That's true. That's true.
Good.
I mean, in the beginning of that game, I honestly felt like Gambit, all the hard work and preparation they had coming into it, I felt that they were counter-striking Mousesports a little bit. Felt that Gambit thought that Mousesports B side was a little bit weak because they kept hitting it, and that didn't really pay off for them. And then once they got that one round that just reset Mousesports economy, that's when they got the ball rolling. And Mousesports never really got it back into it after the last 3 rounds.
I mean, Jason, they started off so well, Mouse, didn't they? In the first 6 rounds, all looked very good. First 5 rounds, rather, looked very good. Everything worked okay, pistols in the bag, money good, everything was fine, and then suddenly it just fell apart.
Well, the first 5 rounds looked okay for Mousesports because they were getting ground down. They were losing, so many players of the economy was kept low. That was Gambit's entire thing. You see so many buys to those first 5 rounds that they're losing because they're getting 2 to 3 kills, they're getting a bomb plant, and they're just saying, let's just keep the money low for that one round we win. And then eventually when they build on that, the money's gone. And yes, it's important for the nades and utility, but it's also important for the AWPs because the 2 star players for Mousesports, Oscar and Chris J, are both oppers. And the double op setup is very dangerous. That's what gave them a very good start with a 5-0. But once you saw those ops gone, very few opening picks for the Mousesports team on the CT side. Gambit's able to gain map control because there's not as much space. Those long-range weapons are keeping them at bay. And then it was just the typical, Zeus Inferno that we used to see out of Navi when he was there. It's just run down the clock, gain map control, be patient, let the CT team make mistake when you have that kind of positioning. Mousesports tried to do the same thing in the second half. They just could never get that win, right? They could never grind the economy down the way that Gambit did. So I mean, it was just won by economy essentially to me.
Yeah, and if there's something we saw that's familiar from Mousesports is that their T sides still need work.
Yeah, towards the end, they got a little bit, it seemed like they were just crumbling by the end of that TF, obviously, but like you could see some of those banana takes at the end, they were like chasing player, like losing one player and 2 players would follow up and chase them really, really deep into the B site, like not willing to cut their losses and try and play a 4-on-5, really, really trying to be over-aggressive. That 3-man stack at the B bomb site that Gambit was doing on the CT side, bit him a couple times with Hobbit being there and Adren, and I can't remember who the third player was coming. I think it might have been Doja. But still, it's actually interesting to note as well on the CT side when Mousesports is up 5-0, they did like the classic mistake where they thought it would be a cool switch up to like do some kind of an uppercut, and on that 6th round, that was when they like tried to crunch alternate mid and ended up going like 2 for 2 in a trade and just losing that 3-on-3. But it's like, especially if they just sit back when their economy is so precarious in such a precarious situation, maybe they don't get reset. But they tried to go for that kind of like sneaky catch them off guard play, and Gambit playing so slow, they probably loved that.
No, for sure.
Yeah, they were so happy.
Positives for Gambit, obviously plenty team-wise, but Adren standing out in the team, MVP for this particular match.
Yeah, definitely for me. I think Adren is the one guy that you can look at. If you look at Gambit, it's like, well, you have the star player, you have Hobbit, you also have Mo, and then Adren is, for me, is one of the, if not the best player on this team, because it's always so consistent. You always know what you get from Adren. You're not going to get these, 40 frag games that you tend to see from other teams, but it's just like
consistent.
Yeah, it's just
you can
so
rely
consistent
on his production
every single time.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, doesn't it, Jason, as an in-game leader as well?
Yeah, and like it's not a situation where you go in and you say, we're used to this guy getting 25 kills, and then if he only gets 15, it's like, where do we get the extra 10 kills from? Who's going to step it up? So you know what you're going to get at him. I thought the nice thing about it is how the production was so deep on this team. Even some of the players at the bottom of the scoreboard didn't have as many kills, but their ADR was
really
some
good.
of the highest of the
Really
team.
high, yeah.
So it's like they're really contributing. They're finding ways to do it as 5 players. I thought Hobbit had a great game on the defensive side of things, and Zeus had really nice impact as well, which you don't frequently see from in-game leaders, although Zeus is one of the guys who's been known to have some impact in that role.
Yep, let's say good morning to one of the players from Gambit. Adren joins us from the player area. First of all, congrats, Adren. Good win this morning. A lot of people said we're not sure how Gambit are going to do because we haven't seen much of them. What have you been doing over the last few weeks?
Last few weeks we just practiced a lot, and last week we just I don't know what happened to us. Maybe we overplayed a lot games. So I don't know. We just started to lose every game, and whoever we play on like practice and official matches, we lost to everyone.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened today. Maybe it's major hype or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
We bounced back, and it feels good. We played good as a team, so I feel great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you come to a major, what is it about the majors? Because it's a bit like flip side with qualifier. You guys always seem to step up when it comes to the major.
I don't know exactly. Maybe it's some major magic or something.
I like that. Maybe it is
I
major
really
magic.
like to play on the majors.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, and you had a good game yourself. Does it help when you feel like you're playing well personally? Does it help the rest of the team, or is it more? Do you feel like the team is a team itself?
I feel like we're playing good as a team. But it was like regular our play that we played like 2 weeks ago. So everything went good. We just started slow because there was like some pressure maybe because we played bad 2 weeks.
No.
But now we bounced back and it feels good.
Good stuff. We've got Fifth Lauren and Moses alongside. James, you got any questions?
Yeah, Adren, what was the main focus that you guys were focusing on during the boot camp?
On the boot camp, we just tried to get our shape because we got 1 month holidays, vacation. So we just tried to focus on our game and just get in shape. We didn't focus on anything. Just we got refresh rounds. We got some new tactics. We'll see.
When you specifically, I mean, you guys, when you look at the map pool and like series play, when you get to best of 3s, it's always kind of been a little bit of a nightmare for you guys in terms of being able to compete in those. When you look at the map pool, you guys have like Overpass and Cobble, which you're very good on. Did you do any work specifically in trying to expand that to like add a couple more maps into it?
Yeah, we practiced a lot other maps, so we're definitely ready to play all the maps, 7 maps. So we're ready.
How's Hobbit doing, by the way? I mean, he's a guy that, like, when you guys had that big swing up, at the end of last year, he was one of the breakout players. Is he still performing at a high level? Is he still improving at a good rate, do you think?
Yeah, he definitely needs maybe more time to gain more experience to play. I don't know. He's really doing good now, but I think he needs, like, maybe 1 more year or something to be at the top level, like Cold Zero or some players.
Oh,
nice. I like that. Yeah, if it's only going to take a year to be Cold Zero, then maybe I start playing Counter-Strike more often again. Just one final question. There was a few graphics put up recently about the amount of hours you guys have been playing. You've just been idling in game, right?
What?
You've just been idling in Counter-Strike to put up your hours. That's all that is, right?
No.
I saw some previews the other night of on the Instagram accounts of some sick video you guys are going to drop pretty soon.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I don't have my gold teeth. So
No. It was a good video, though. We enjoyed that. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Adren, and good luck with match 2 tomorrow.
Thank you.
There's a Adren there from Gambit Gaming. They have won their first game of the major. The first one is in the books. They're 1-0. Remember, 3 wins, and you're through to the quarterfinals. Back to being legend status as well. Let's wrap things up, Robin. It's a good start from them. But let's talk about Mousesports as well, because they've been on a roll. They've been doing really well in all the tournaments, shown some great results. They've got a very wide map pool, as Jason said earlier. They've got the firepower, but maybe not the experience, and that showed up in that first match.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think that one thing they should definitely work on coming into tomorrow, especially if they work, it doesn't necessarily have to be Inferno, but it's their executes. It's the way that they start the rounds off. Like Jason was saying, Gambit's the 3B stack there, for example, just hurt Mousesports again and again. And the reason for that is because you don't take control of the map before you start executing. That's what Gambit does so well, and teams know that. They know for a fact that Gambit are very slow, so you can't over-rotate. You can't necessarily gamble on one map towards the other. Whereas for Mousesports, yeah, you spread out a few people, but if you don't take over mid, if you don't take over banana, you're going to get these kind of gambly plays coming in from that CT side, and it's most of the times it's not going to pay off for the T side.
Did you see anything in Mousesports play? I mean, particularly first half, there was some moments in there where they looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite nice. I mean, obviously, they're a very dangerous team if you get the ops in their hands, which is always going to make a team very susceptible to the economic breaks and resets. And they're not particularly known for being great on the force buys if they have to be in those situations. But I think that's the big thing, even on the CT side and the T side both, was that they seem to have that reliance on the AWPs to find you that first kill. They didn't have a great plan of finding a first kill, whether it's gaining map control first and then executing into the bomb site, or whether it's just noticing some tendency of the defense, some area in the map that you can really exploit a player to get a first kill. It was kind of like they have the ops, and if they don't get one with those, they didn't really have any in the tank behind that. So maybe maybe it's an Inferno thing, but it didn't seem very diverse on the T side to me.
Okay, I think that's a good spot to leave it. And thank you very much to both of our panel members. We aren't going too far away, though. We've got 8 matches today, 1 down, 7 to go. Next up, it's Fnatic. The old boys are back in town. Can they go head-to-head with Flipside? We'll find out after the break.